Na na na, Tita is the female version of Tita is the female version track. Let me take that. Give me a minute and I'll be right back. Give me a minute that I couldn't get. I done got so sick and filthy with binges I can't spend. I'm gonna talk quick like I just got a beat it. I'm the number one keeper in this game for a minute. Because that's where I'll be. Na na na, Tita is the female version of her. Tita is the female version of her. Really cool up, wanna pop my cooler. Baby, have a six pack in the cooler. Getting money, you getting money. If you ain't getting money, then you ain't got nothing for me.
And listen, guys, we are back. You're listening to the Cleopatra Show. The time is 9:08, and we are jumping right to it, guys. I have the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, in the studio live and in color. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to WVON. How are you?
Good to be with you, Cleopatra. Great to be in the building.
Absolutely. So let's get right to it, because I was just asking everybody that has listened to the promo and saying, "Ooh, what's the congressman doing in Chicago?" So from New York to Chicago, why are you here?
Well, you know, we're inside of 100 days in terms of the effort to take back control of the House of Representatives. So I'm moving around the country, talking to supporters, meeting with incoming members of Congress, folks like LaShawn Ford, of course, staying in close touch with my good friends in the Illinois congressional delegation, like my big sister, Robin Kelly.
Absolutely. As she already told you, I'm one of her children. So shout out to Congresswoman Kelly, my congresswoman at that. So let's get right to it, because I find your position to be very unique, because you're on the precipice of not only making history, but creating history. And I'm interested in some math. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. How many seats will it take for you to take back the House?
Well, we're 3 seats short right now, but with the redistricting dynamics, we think that comfortably we need to net about 6.
I agree with you. What's your thoughts when it comes to, and I follow a number of your clips, but specifically, I love to address the anti-Black agenda with this regime. I know you, by right, call it administration, but I see it for what it is, balls and strikes. And of that, the redistricting has been a real tidal wave, but I believe that I've bore witness to the ripple effect being very favorable from Democrats and folks coming out in groves. What do you say to that?
Well, I think that this administration, which is a cartel and a regime as well, have been a complete and total failure. Every promise that they've made, they've broken. They promised to lower the high cost of living on day one, but costs haven't gone down. Costs have gone up because of active decisions that Republicans have made, including the Trump tariffs, which have increased costs on people in Chicago and all across the country by thousands of dollars per year. And then, of course, this reckless and costly failed war of choice in Iran, which has skyrocketed gas prices as well as food prices. Now, that was another broken promise, because Donald Trump and Republicans promised that they were not going to start endless wars in the Middle East. They were going to stop them, and then turned around and have gotten us involved in this mess overseas. So from our perspective, they failed on the core issues, and we can go on and on about how disastrous the regime has been. And we have said regime change is coming in November in the United States House of Representatives, and possibly even the Senate. Now, we're going to focus on the core issues around making life more affordable for our community and for the country, drive down the costs of groceries and gasoline and housing, make sure that healthcare is affordable for every single American. And we've also indicated that in addition to the affordability agenda, there's going to be an accountability agenda, because we've seen record levels of corruption that has been unleashed on the American people in ways that make Richard Nixon look like a choir boy.
I'm trying to tell you, may the church say amen. Now, speaking of healthcare, I got to address this because they're, they love to soundbite you. You the soundbite king. I got to tell you that. And when it came to your position on Medicare for all, I have to ask you, in the evolution of your position now, where did it come from?
Yeah, well, I think that, basically, as House Democratic leader, my view is that we got to bring everybody together and their different perspectives within the House Democratic caucus on how we fix our broken healthcare system. And that the plan for us is to begin with what unifies everybody. And that clearly is repealing the Medicaid cuts and also extending and strengthening the Affordable Care Act and the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Now, I think the guiding principle that brings everybody together is the notion that in this country, and I've said this repeatedly, access to high quality and affordable healthcare can't simply be a privilege available only to the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. It's got to be a right available to every single American. And there are different paths to get there. And certainly Medicare for all is one. It has support amongst a significant number of people within the caucus. There are other folks within the caucus who think that there are other ways to get there to achieve that principle. And so my view is, let's cross that bridge when we get to it, and we'll have a robust conversation in January if the American people give us the ability to govern.
But I have to ask you, because from 2019 to 2021, you were solid on the position, and in the evolution, did you learn something? Because I consider you to be extremely intelligent, right? So, if you make a move, I think it's with purpose. And from 2019 until now, what is that, 7-8 years? Why did you change on that position? Because right now, 16 million Americans are without anything.
Yeah.
So at this point, we need something. So what would be the solution? And why did you change your position?
Yeah, well, I think actually, instead of describing it as a change in position, which I think is what some have articulated, when I changed from chair of the House Democratic Caucus to House Minority Leader, at that point, consistent with what other leaders or speakers have done, when it comes to major pieces of legislation, we let the caucus work out its will to try to actually get to a consensus position.
So not you as a person, but you as a leader in terms of them finding a pathway. And like you're saying, it's multifaceted. Now, I received that.
Yeah.
I got that. So, let me pivot a little bit, because now I'm going to ask you something. What is a common sense elected, and what does that look like?
Well, it certainly ain't extreme MAGA Republicans. I mean, come on,
but
bro.
They are really putting on a new mask. So when I heard that, it was jaw dropping. So, I see them scrambling, right? But I also see some of us, the Democratic side, scrambling too.
Yeah.
And everybody's scrambling to save America at this point, right? But is it really to save America? I see the grifter keeps on grifting. So what is a common sense elected?
So I think that from our standpoint, a common sense elected official is someone who's committed to solving problems, finding common ground in order to promote the public good. And under no circumstances is that extreme MAGA Republicans right now. So clearly, Mike Johnson and House Republican leaders know they are in a politically perilous situation, and they're trying to create some distance between the House Republicans, who are in some of the toughest districts in the country and on the verge of losing their seats, and Donald Trump's extreme agenda. But that's impossible from our standpoint. These are the same folks who have supported every single aspect of the toxic policies that Donald Trump has been jamming down the throats of the American people since he came back to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, including their one big ugly bill, which enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, and hospitals, nursing homes, community-based health centers, including here in Chicago and all across the country, are threatened as a result of that. More than 14 million people may lose access to health care, including here in the great state of Illinois. They've refused to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. They've ripped food away from our children and seniors and veterans by enacting the largest cut to SNAP.
Correct.
In
About
American
70%,
history.
70%. We covered that extensively, and the cruelty of just hunting working families in America is almost an exercise for them.
That's right.
Right. So literally yesterday, a plane went in the air either yesterday or this morning of 170 Haitians that were on TPS, the cruelty of hunting immigrants, but the activity in the sport of surviving while being Black in America. I got to get to that,
Yeah.
right? Because my listening audience wants to know, as you, like you said, you net six. What are the six localities of these seats? Can you name them?
Well, I think we have opportunities in New York where we can pick up at least one, maybe two seats, up to four in Pennsylvania, one or two in the neighboring state of Wisconsin. Of course, here in Illinois, we got to protect our frontline incumbents and people who have been in tough seats, like Eric Sorensen and Nikki Brzezinski, and of course, Lauren Underwood, Sean Casten. I think, the Democrats here have done a great job and have created some distance between themselves and the swing seats that they once flipped,
right?
Here in Illinois. So that's a good thing. In Michigan, we have maybe 2 or 3 seats that we can flip. In Arizona, up to 3. And certainly as a result of the success of Prop 50 in California, we can flip up to 5, and I think we will. So in total, now we got to defend some of the seats that have been put into harm's way as a result of the Supreme Court's egregious decision in Calais, where they have unleashed these Jim Crow-like tactics on Black political representation and ability of African Americans to elect a candidate of their choice.
I mean, completely eviscerate.
Yeah.
Bottom line, we talk about that. And the fact that that is okay is very disheartening, particularly as we are gutting the Civil Rights Bill and all of its attributes. As you talk about this, and we're talking about this anti-Black agenda and the purging of federal Black employment. The hunt was first women, then Black men, right? And to destabilize America, everything that, your president promised.
Yeah.
Because he's your president. He's done the polar opposite, and it's only been 19 months, House Minority Leader. As we are 73 days, 74 days away, how close can you feel it? My Michael Jackson voice, can you feel it?
We can feel it, but we got to run through the finish line, right? And take nothing for granted.
That's right.
We know that the other side, is going to unleash the greatest voter suppression effort that the country has ever seen, which is why we're putting together the biggest voter protection effort that the country has ever seen. And it's House Democrats working with Senate Democrats, working with the Democratic Governors Association, and leaders like Governor Pritzker here in Illinois and many others across the country, including my own home state governor, of course, Kathy Hochul, Democratic Attorney Generals Association, and shout out to Kwame Raoul.
Yes.
My fraternity brother, good
right
man.
On.
And but he's doing a great job battling the Trump administration here. And of course, Tish James, my sister back home in New York. So we're working with the attorney generals. We're working with the secretaries of state. We're working with civil society. So that's the faith community, organized labor, civil rights groups, civil liberties groups, good government groups, and democracy protection groups.
So with all the groups you're working with, I
Yeah.
got to ask the magic question because, this is Black America we're talking to. Why should Black America show up and support the Democratic Party?
Well, listen, we're committed to solving the problem, not only reversing the damage that has been done, but actually bring about a high quality of life for everyone in our community throughout Black America, and actually to build upon some of the progress that has previously been made under Democratic presidents like Barack Obama and Joe Biden, where we saw a record level of investments in historically Black colleges and universities, record level of investments in promoting entrepreneurship, home ownership, and economic empowerment. Now we've seen a lot of those gains reversed. And that's not to say that everything was perfect under previous Democratic administrations. But what I can say is that we have a core commitment to making life better, to actually breaking down the barriers that have been erected during the journey that we've been on, knowing that America has never been a perfect country, but we are striving toward a more perfect union. And that's going to require policies that are sensitive to communities like the African-American communities here in the Chicagoland area that have historically been on the wrong side of resources and public policies that were enlightened. And And so that problem is being worsened right now. You seeing,
I mean, it's exasperated. In fact, 40 trillion is the new deficit. And, with the conversations we have here on the Cleopatra Show, bottom line is, as we're looking to the possibilities of a new contender to rise to be the star in 2028 on this presidential ticket, and I don't know if I'm gleaming my eye at you or whomever. Bottom line is, for Black Americans that have been fighting for reparations while Trump is pulling up to the back of with the Brinks truck to the Treasury. When we talk about holistically making Black folks whole in this country, and we're giving restitution to Afrikaners, we are cutting a $40 billion check to Argentina. It's not when is our turn. What does our turn look like in this 2028 ticket? And what will be the motivating factor? Because oftentimes what irritates Black America is when we hear about everyone. And the bottom line is when Black people win, everybody wins. That is true. But exclusively with reparations, where's that conversation since, Congresswoman Lee has passed on and she put up a hell of a fight. A hell of a fight. But the ball needs to continue and it needs to be a slam dunk. Where do you stand on that?
Well, let me say, first of all, rest in peace, Sheila Jackson Lee. And, that piece of legislation, H.R. 40, I believe Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley may have picked up the ball and is carrying it forward, but I got to check into that. It is an important conversation that I think we're going to need to have. But let me say this. I think the Black Economic Alliance has actually put forth an agenda that to me makes a lot of transformational sense, which is to focus on three areas: work, wages, and wealth. And if you go back to the 1963 March on Washington, which of course, the full name of the March on Washington was the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom.
Yes.
That the aspiration of those upon whose shoulders we stand wasn't simply civil rights and voting rights, but it was economic justice and economic empowerment as the key to unlocking economic freedom for our community. And so I think from my standpoint, figuring out, okay, how do we lean in to employment? How do we lean into entrepreneurship? How do we lean into home ownership? Because home ownership has been the key for both wealth creation and wealth transfer. And we've seen under this administration that actual Black home ownership numbers have decreased and Black unemployment has increased.
That's right.
And so we actually are going in the wrong direction when it comes to actually leaning into these core issues that the Black Economic Alliance and others have laid out around work, wages, wealth.
Before I let you go, I created this Hakeem 5 favorites. You ready? It's a lightning round.
Okay.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book, actually, the first transformational book that I read was from Professor Derek Bell as I was on my way into law school, Faces at the Bottom of the Well.
Okay. What's your worst habit?
Lack of sleep.
Okay. What's your favorite binge watching series?
The Wire.
And where's your favorite place to travel?
Favorite place to travel? I mean, I would say actually my favorite escape is a home away from home in the East New York community that I represent, which is the Shirley Chisholm State Park, which was a new park that we actually stood up on the bay in East New York. It was a state park that prior to that had just been inactive, and it was a meaningful oasis for a Black community in East New York and Brownsville and Canarsie that prior to that point in time had been without the same type of natural environment like a Prospect Park or a Central Park.
Last but not least, sugar or salt on your rice?
Neither.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying I'm trying to manage my health situation as I travel around the country.
Right on, right on. Well, here it is. As you work to net this 6, you stand to make history as the Speaker of the House. How do you feel about that concept and that idea?
Well, listen, I think that I don't want to put the cart before the horse. And ultimately, it's going to be the House Democratic Caucus members who will make the decision as to whether, when we take back the majority, I'm able to ascend into the next level of leadership. But I do know I stand on the shoulders of a lot of folks like Shirley Chisholm, whose district in part, I currently represent, or John Lewis.
That's right.
Amazing Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, right? Or Barbara Jordan, Sheila Jackson Lee.
That's right.
Like you mentioned, Eddie Bernice.
Well, you're the most voted for man in modern history. You do know that. Jonathan Jackson had it counted to a science. Shout out to Congressman Jackson.
Shout out to Jonathan Jackson.
I mean, his figures go crazy. So I appreciate your humility, and I look forward to you making history and fighting on behalf of working families, and particularly for Black America. What do you have to say for them before you get out?
Well, listen, I think this is going to be a critically important election. We're in the midst of a national nightmare right now. And we have an opportunity to change direction and to cut Donald Trump's presidency legislatively in half so he can do no more damage, and also ensure that we're focused on the issues that matter. And we know that the affordability crisis hits hard here, in Chicago, in Illinois, and all across the country. And then also make sure that we're actually doing the type of things to reverse the return to Jim Crow-like tactics that has been unleashed on us by the Supreme Court, which is why, right, if we take the House back and the Senate, we can do things like pass the John Robert Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, so we can end the era of voter suppression in the United States of America once and for all, and actually start creating enlightened policies focused on things like maximum employment, good paying job opportunities, entrepreneurship, and a return to that level of engagement and economic wealth creation in our communities. And of course, home ownership as a critical aspect to being able to not just provide a good life for you and your family, but to pass on the opportunity to live a good life for generations to come.
And speaking of the Senate, I take it since we're in Illinois, you're going to pull up to Michigan.
Yeah, well, listen, I think that I'm going to St. Louis next.
I know.
But, we're tracking the Michigan situation closely, and Michigan's going to be an important
It's in play.
Race for us, both the Senate side, as well as maybe 2, if not 3 House seats.
All right. Well, here it is, guys. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries hung out right here at the Cleopatra Show. Thank you so much for the time. And I appreciate Hakeem's 5 favorites. Now I got to pull up at that park. Listen, I'm playing this song as we close out for you. You ready, Titus? I heard you like rap.
That's it right
now,
there.
Now, who's your favorite rapper?
My favorite rapper is Biggie Smalls.
All right.
Notorious B.I.G., but I got love for LL Cool J. That's right. The comeback is underway.
I'm trying to tell you, you better claim it. Now, you take it on every platform you go to. Now, how can we keep up with you?
Well, listen, at Rep Jeffries on all of the social media platforms, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and certainly, what I still call the platform formerly known as Twitter.
There it is, guys. I'm gonna let them get up out of here. I see the phone lines are lit. 773-591-1690s. The Dems are saying don't call it a comeback. They've been here. We'll be back.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Bond TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Bond TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
I may ask this family about what they eat.
Dr. M?
If he's turning playtime into screen time, that might be something I'd like to know. Has he tried smoking? Does he vape? I might even ask about changes to her body. Is she feeling overwhelmed? Any signs of anxiety? If we feel comfortable asking these questions, shouldn't we also be asking, how do you store firearms in your home?
Firearm injuries are the leading cause of death for children and teens in the U.S. It's our responsibility to have a conversation about firearm injury prevention. because questions about safety are questions about health. Find tools at agreetoagree.org/healthcare.
Chicago, you know the song, Say My Name, Survivor, Independent Women, Bills, Bills, Bills. But before the global stages, the awards, and millions of records being sold, there was a vision. And behind that vision was Matthew Knowles, the legendary manager who helped transform a group of young women from Houston into one of the most successful female groups of all time. Now, Matthew Knowles takes you inside the extraordinary journey, delivering a fusion of storytelling and classical music for a musical experience you don't want to miss. This classical funk performance is taking place Saturday, August 29th at the Congress Hotel. For Destiny's Child, iconic and reimagined, narrated by the visionary himself, Matthew Knowles, and backed by a live 5-piece string ensemble. Hear the unmistakable harmonies, empowering lyrics, and legendary hits in an entirely new way while discovering the story behind the music. Upgrade to VIP premium seating and exclusive meet and greet with Matthew Knowles. VIP packages are limited. Say their name, hear their story, and enjoy the classical funk music experience narrated by Matthew Knowles.
Greetings, WVON family. It's your brother and friend, Bomani Obadeli of the Activist Hour. Join me on Saturday mornings as we discuss a holistic and public health approach to addressing community violence. We will also be discussing ways that we can create a safe, peaceful, economically thriving, and healthy communities. Join me Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. on WVON for the Activist Hour.
When it comes to celebrating our Chicagoland communities, Wintrust is here for it. We're proud to support small businesses in our own backyards, like Anderson's Bookshops, with locations at 123 West Jefferson Avenue in Naperville and 5112 Main Street in Downers Grove. La Fruteria Incorporated, imported foods from Africa and the Caribbean, located at 8909 South Commercial Avenue in Chicago. Kitchen and Bath Authority, exquisite collections of bathroom accessories and more at 611 West Roosevelt Road in Wheaton.
This August, renew your spirit only on Vine TV. Watch Behind Our Walls, a powerful documentary following incarcerated men pursuing a college education through the Calvin Prison Initiative. It's an inspiring story of determination, redemption, and the transformative power of second chances.
There's a lot of bad things that happen in prison. It's a dark place. You have all the time in the world. So you can either become a better human being or you become a worse human being. And the choice is yours.
Then spend time with Serenity, Strength, and Style with Sylvia Ewing and friends. Uplifting conversations about wellness, self-care, resilience, and living with intention. August on Vine TV offers stories that stay with you long after they're over. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, the WVON app, or at Vaughn.tv. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
Cloudy and mild. We could see rain later this afternoon. Good morning. I'm Annette Flournoy, and here's what's happening. This hour, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries just wrapped up a live exclusive in-studio WVON interview. He was here to talk directly to Black Chicagoans about his midterm election strategy and legislative priorities ahead of the 2026 November elections, where Democrats are positioning themselves as the party of affordability, healthcare, protections, and civil rights.
Senate. Now we're going to focus on the core issues around making life more affordable for our community and for the country, drive down the costs of groceries and gasoline and housing, make sure that healthcare is affordable for every single American. And we've also indicated that in addition to the affordability agenda, there's going to be an accountability agenda.
Meanwhile, U.S. Representative Jeffries is poised to become the first Black leader of a major political party in Congress, making a historic milestone in American politics. Well, this is the final weekend before Chicago Public School students head back to class for a brand new school year on Monday. Meanwhile, students in Gary and Munster, Indiana are not in class. Northwest Indiana enters into day 10 without power. Perry Williams has more.
About 45,000 homes and businesses remain in the dark. Gary Mayor Eddie Melton says utility crews are working around the clock.
The latest restoration for, I believe, with 95 to 100% will be August 25th. But they're actively restoring power right now as we speak.
Public schools in Gary will remain closed today. Officials with the Community School Corporation will have a better idea of a return date over the weekend. I'm Perry Williams.
Here in Chicago this afternoon, there's a big back-to-school festival in Inglewood. Students will be given backpacks for the new school year and school supplies. There will also be food and games and entertainment. Today's festival kicks off 30 this afternoon and will run until 4 at Urban Preg High School on South Stewart Avenue. And a Chicago mother runs into a huge windfall that will be a major help for her when buying those back-to-school supplies and clothes. WVON's Logan Page has that story.
Great news from the Chicago West Side. A Chicago mother is celebrating a $400,000 Illinois lottery win after purchasing a $5 scratch-off ticket on the city's southwest side. Claudia, a mother of 3, says she plans to invest the winnings in her children's education. She also plans to surprise her children with a back-to-school shopping spree. The big win is bringing some exciting news to Chicago's West Side. Logan Page, our News Now, WVON 1690 AM.
And crews are set to break ground later this year on the first phase of the new Concourse E at O'Hare Airport. The first phase will add 14 new gates and expected to be completed by 2030. Now, the phase is the next major stage of the nearly $9 billion modernization program at O'Hare. Well, that's a look at our News Now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVON News Time, 9:39.
It's Gospel with Pam Morris Walton, your gospel sister, on WVON Sundays, 11 to 2 p.m. Music to help you on your journey. I'll see you there. WVON.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash. Fantastic. Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes. So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
WVON traffic and weather now.
We're looking at pretty much light traffic across the board, but we are seeing a major problem on the inbound side of the Bishop 4 right now. There's an earlier accident right there in the construction zone outbound at Sibley. Traffic backed up all the way to Dalton. Apparently that accident is involving injury. Taking a look at our weather, we're seeing some cloudy conditions across the city. The National Weather Service says there is a strong chance that we could see some showers later today, this afternoon, and into the evening hours. Heavy showers at that. Temperatures are expected to climb near 80 today. We're going down to right around 61. We've made our way into the 70-degree mark. Right now, the National Weather Service says we're looking at 73 at O'Hare. It's cloudy and 73 at the Obama Presidential Center and 73 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flurnoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 9:42, and it's Funny Clip Fridays. Listen, guys, the studio is buzzing. Oh, the heat was up in here like a hot comb on Easter Sunday. Big ups to House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Congressman Jeffries, as he flies out and heads to St. Louis. He is traveling across the country. Here we are, and a sprint for the Democrat livelihood with the possibility of taking back everything, okay? It's 74 days before the midterms, and he is sprinting. I want to know what you all thought about his interview. ABC was definitely stalking outside those WVON studio doors trying to get a scoop, too. I see you all. I told you, they be listening. It's crossed the radar for everybody. Give us a call, 773-591-1690. I ain't got folks calling from D.C. Who that? Let's talk to Keith. Keith, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Good morning, Mrs. Draper. Thank you for the forum and giving us a chance to speak in it. Last night, I canvassed in South Shore, and I was thinking, why am I doing this? This is South Shore. This is Chicago. But Mr. Jeff or Senator Jeffries or I don't know what to call him, Hakeem Jeffries made me feel better about doing it, because he said we don't want to fight. We don't want to end this fight in a weak position. So, okay, I had some good conversations last night. But more importantly, Juliana Stratton will be at 2440 East 75th Street Saturday at 1 p.m. And then we go door knocking again. So come on out and holla at her.
Okay, I appreciate that. Good call.
Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, the phone lines are yours. Preston Shanks said he wasn't motivated at all. Why not, Preston? Why? We can move on. He wasn't talking about nothing. Well, I feel like, bottom line is the house on fire. Now, whether or not you all want a scorched earth or not, what do you want them to do, right? What's the plan? Now, I do want him to shape up his response for reparations. You got to get that right. I told you all, sitting across from me, they can give me all the preferred talking points they want. If that candidate that wants to punch that ticket for 2028 does not put out a viable actualization of how they're going to cut the check, they in trouble. Too many checks have been cut under this regime. In fact, I have a count for you all, because I thought it was important to begin to unpack as we work on the ask and the evolution of the demand. Because some of us have asked and you have not, and some of us want not, and then some of us are just like, if you don't give me this, you in trouble because you need us. So here it is. $8.4 trillion was the deficit when Joe Biden held and departed office. And Trump 1.0 and 2.0. In the 5.5 years, he's accrued $11.6 trillion. And he's only been in office 19 months. So not even an entire 2 years. With that being said, like I've said, we've cut $40 billion to Argentina, which has a failed economy, is on its seventh leg of life, literally 7. So for the non-believers, employment, home ownership, yeah, that's great. But it's not even in order to catch up to a whatever line of a race that we've all been sprinting towards at a disadvantage, coming from chains and shackles, right? When we were kings and queens. In these foreign shores that we've called home for generations. At this point, there's no amount of measurable attribute that one can put into context besides reparations to restore and repair. And that gives us the option to either stay or play. The home ownership And employability is just as much of a right to draw air. That is just the right to a quality of life. But the reparations truly means to repair. And there's no amount of money that can repair the carnage and the harm and the horrors and the genetic markers that we walked away with and the cruelty that we deal with as a result thereof. But we can begin to formalize a financial number that will suffice. Because once you repair and atone, we need not have to continue to relive it, but you never forget it. And that's why I always insistently incorporate the Jewish attribute. So I wanted to really contextualize that because I am prayerful that the House Minority Leader shapes not only his analysis, but his response, right? But I did feel that his interview was extremely fruitful, juxtaposed to where we're at. So when I asked him about the common sense electeds, I did have a clip, I may come back to it, of his voice and this new way and how the Grand Old Party is repositioning themselves as the common sense electeds. In what capacity? Okay. And what does that truly mean? So although the conversation is highbrow, it is everyday language in terms of what we're all facing. The opportunity to afford where we're living. And for some of us to afford to live somewhere better, improved, right? Improved schools, improved communities. What does that look like if you can barely buy a carton of eggs? If you can barely afford not only home care, but health care. Those are real things. So 773-591-1690. And the possibility of not only the Democrats being able to flip the House and the Senate. We've been under Republican rule. And the only question I have is, has your life improved? And in what way? And then some of us will be so bold to say, oh, that don't affect me. That hasn't impacted me. And my response is, yes, it has. And I won't even say yet. Yes, it has. You've just been able to overcome. And in that overcome, you've overspent and you've overindulged and you've overcompensated just for you to say the things that aren't real. And what is real is that everybody is feeling the pinch. And in every auspice of life, our lives have changed for the worse comparatively than where we were literally 2 years ago. We'll be back after this break.
Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, the Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church. Have a night.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats and get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
This summer, experience live music under the stars at Ravinia, everybody. Gladys Knight, Brian McKnight are going to headline, and they'll be joined by Chance the Rapper, and a special opening night gala performance featuring Lizzo with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. See great performances all season long from legendary voices to home favorites. Ravinia brings unforgettable sounds to the summer stage. Get your tickets now at ravinia.org.
Lung cancer is common among East Asian descendants, especially females.
We understand our patients have different backgrounds and circumstances, which is why we promote nearly 1,000 health screenings each year, like the CLUES program, which screens high-risk, often uninsured patients for cancer.
If it wasn't for the CLUES program at Northwestern Medicine, we wouldn't know my mom had lung cancer.
Because we treat our community the same way we treat our patients, better.
Growing older doesn't mean slowing down. It means embracing a new chapter. Join Dr. LaDonna Ray for Senior Talks, featuring honest conversations about health, family, finances, community, and living your best life at every age. Get information you can use and inspiration you can carry with you. That's Senior Talks with Dr. LaDonna Ray, Saturdays at 7 a.m., only on WVON.
When you're finally off the clock after a long day, dishes put away, kids asleep, feet kicked up, heartburn. Don't let heartburn take over your hard-earned moment. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Alka-Seltzer effervescent tablets begin neutralizing stomach acid in seconds, so you can get back to your one more episode marathon. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Use as directed.
School's Big 3 season has come down to this. The Big 3 Championship is coming to Charlotte. Who will be crowned the Big 3 Season 9 champion? Plus the Big 3 All-Star Game. The biggest names in the game, all on one court, one more time. 2 games of the most physical, competitive, and nonstop 3-on-3 action. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and catch replays Monday on BET. Oh, yay, yay!
Greetings, WVON family. It's your brother and friend, Bomani Obadeli of the Activist Hour. Join me on Saturday mornings as we discuss a holistic and public health approach to addressing community violence. We will also be discussing ways that we can create a safe, peaceful, economically thriving, and healthy communities. Join me Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. on WVON for the Activist Hour.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Ain't no self-secure, left your mind sure that I'll be you always. Now, messy up tomorrow, but it has to work from home every day. All that you want to do, you know what I say.
I'll be loving you always. I love me some Stevie. Woo! Listen, guys, the studio is still buzzing. You know, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Congressman Jeffries, has left the studio. And yeah, ABC was out there. Listen, guys, anytime boss lady come over here, woo, big deal. Big ups to my Congresswoman Kelly stopped by the studio. I'm gonna always love me some her. You want to talk about some love? She showed Congressional District 2 a lot of love. And, you know, for what it's worth, folks voted how they saw fit. And I wish nothing but the best for Lieutenant Juliana Stratton as she rises onward to that fight to be the next United States Senator. And what God has for you, no man can undo. Even as I command this ship, right? As this black man that sat across from me rises to become the first black speaker in American history. That's no easy feat. and he is voted by a body of his peers. But they will also look at a body of his work, which is why he's moving around the country, right? 74 days until the midterms. And the opportunity, I'm licking my chops. I don't know if he's licking his, of not only securing the Democratic Party to be the party in leadership and empowered, but both from the Senate and the House perspective, lame duck president Donald Trump. Not only can he talk about his helipad, how he gonna decorate the ballroom, the commander in sleep might can actually sleep. The phone lines are yours. 773-591-1690. I'm going to the phone lines. Let's talk to Pat. Pat, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Hi, good morning. I was so happy to hear that interview today. I really, really enjoyed it. And it gave him a not on television experience for me. It made me feel at home with him. So I really, really enjoyed that. And my question to you, and, maybe for him, is what can I do to volunteer to help flip this House and the Senate? Last time we did the presidential election, I sent out postcards. We got a big list and we sent out a bunch of postcards and stuff. Where do I volunteer? Where do I?
So here's what we're going to do. Ken Martin is coming in town, and I have my super producer working on that. He is the chair right now in the Democratic Party, and they're actually doing a training at the end of next week. But furthermore, I'm imagining, as I'm working on an opportunity to get the gubernatorial candidate-elect right here in Wisconsin into the studio, that because that's our neighboring state, I'm imagining an opportunity of them coming back and forth for door knocking and or phone banking and or postcard campaigns. I've led some of those initiatives here in the state. I would definitely reach out to the party and circle back, because it's enthusiasts like you that are thinking above the fray, not to take Illinois for granted, but typically Illinois is safe because it's predominantly Democratic, but across the country, as he named, New York, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Arizona. Michigan is another one. That's 3.5 hour drive, depending on the locality. Those neighboring states, both Michigan and Wisconsin here in the Midwest, are in play for us and in reach. So I appreciate you, Pat, and please listen back as I give some marching orders, and I have some special guests tell us what we can do to show up and show out, because that's what Black women do. Black women lead in America, and we guide the party, and we don't have to no longer capitulate in any way in terms of what we want from the party, because I am clearly asking, where's the reparation agenda in the party? Economics, so on and so forth. So good call, Pat. And thank you for the kudos to him. Thank you.
Will do. Bye-bye.
So listen, guys, like I said, I'm going to come back with some marching orders. You all will get the not only the strategist side of my brain, but the operative side of my brain. I can't help it. I get into full-fledged march commando mode in terms of some operations that need to transform. And like I said, the neighboring states are Michigan and Wisconsin, so stay tuned for that. But even as a national campaign, like she said, postcards, it doesn't take much for an Illinois operation to transcend to Arizona, to transcend California, New York, and Pennsylvania. And in Pennsylvania, we have the potential of flipping 4 seats. That is huge. As the political pundit has said, let the church speak, and everybody say amen. We'll be back.
Partly cloudy skies, temperatures climbing near 80 with the possibility of rain later today on this Friday, August 21st, 2026. I'm in Illinois, into the headlines. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries just wrapped up a live in-studio WVON exclusive interview. He's making rounds through the Midwest ahead of the November elections in Chicago. He sat down only, exclusively, right here at WVON. Weather is topping our news once again. The National Weather Service says there is potential for severe storms to develop in the Chicagoland area today. Now, the Weather Service is tracking storms that could bring strong winds, widespread damage, and hail. Well, it's Friday and the final weekend before Chicago Public Schools students head back to class for a brand new school year on Monday. And lots happening this afternoon to get students ready and prepared. National news from the Black Information Network is next on Chicago's original social media platform. 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's 10:02.
BIN News Now. President Trump says he wants the United States to remain the global leader in cryptocurrency and technology.
New financial technologies are extending this American dominance into the 21st century, and that's why we're focused on creating a clear regulatory framework.
Speaking at the White House, Trump highlighted support for Bitcoin and digital assets as officials launch a new advisory committee. Former Cook County Commissioner Richard Boykin has filed a complaint accusing Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas of intimidation and official misconduct. Boykin, who is Black, alleges the dispute stemmed from criticism of Pappas's mayoral ambitions, while Pappas has defended her actions. And the Tupac Shakur murder trial resumes today in Las Vegas. Jurors this week heard recordings of Dwayne Keefe D. Davis discussing the events surrounding Shakur's 1996 killing. They were also shown photos of his autopsy. Davis is accused of orchestrating the murder. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Terry McCready.
The USS Abraham Lincoln being relieved in the Middle East. This after President Trump declared concerns over the aircraft carrier was fake news. Maryland's Black Mayor Wes Moore blasting the president over his remarks.
The response of the president of the United States pisses me off, and it should piss all of us off. I would have hoped that since he's never been forward deployed, since he's never put on the uniform and sacrifice for this country, that he would have more compassion for the people who are willing to.
More on CNN. Multiple reports now confirm the replacement aircraft carrier, the USS George Washington, has arrived, giving the San Diego-based crew of the Lincoln a chance to return home. There have been concerns about the 5,000 crew members who departed San Diego back in November, setting a modern carrier record for time at sea. There could soon be tougher scrutiny for green card applicants when they're deemed a public charge, and that defines an individual who is primarily dependent on the government. Public charge guidance allows immigration officials to consider whether a U.S. citizen child of the applicant or one of their relatives has used health or social service programs, even if the applicant has not. A release this week from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services says officers will apply several factors to determine whether green card applicants are subject to the public charge of inadmissibility. The new rule means officers will assess all pertinent facts on a case-by-case basis. A USCIS spokesperson says the Trump administration is upholding the rule of law and protecting American taxpayers from subsidizing aliens who may become dependent on public benefits. The WNBA suddenly has become political with one of their biggest names, Sophie Cunningham, speaking out against transgender athletes competing in women's sports. Her team, the Indiana Fever, played in Dallas yesterday, and there was plenty of conservative support.
We very much appreciate what Sophie is doing, but disappointed with the WNBA failing to create a policy to protect women in their sport.
Mary Elizabeth Castle, with Texas Values, held a rally outside the American Airlines Center. The WNBA Players Association said in a statement they welcome hard conversations, but refuse to be used as political pawns. Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker is excited about One Philly HBCU Week, October 27th through the 31st. The city will celebrate HBCU culture with a Battle of the Bands, choir competition, and much more. 2 HBCU football games are also scheduled that week at Lincoln Financial Field. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
Chicago, are you ready to ride through art, culture, and pure Bronzeville magic? The Bronzeville Art District Trolley Tour is back every third Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. Hop aboard our double-decker trolley buses for a night of art, community, and unforgettable vibes. For powerful exhibits at Blanc Gallery to creative expressions at the Bronzeville Art Lofts. to cultural treasures at Fay African Art and the soul-stirring brilliance of Gallery Gashard. Each stop is a whole experience. This is not just a tour, it's a moving celebration of Bronzeville's heartbeat. Meet the artist, feel the rhythm, bring your friends, bring your energy. June 19th, July 17th, August 21st, and September 18th. Every third Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. And it's free to ride the Bronzeville Art District Trolley Tour. 20 years strong and still rolling. Tap in for the culture. Tap in for the ride. RSVP now at Eventbrite and search the Bronzeville Art District Trolley Tour 2026. See you there.
Two LaDonnas, one unforgettable conversation. Tune in to Senior Talks on Saturday, August 22nd at 7 a.m. as Dr. LaDonna Ray welcomes Chicago radio icon LaDonna Tittle. Hear stories from her remarkable broadcasting career as she discusses her upcoming documentary. That's Senior Talks with Dr. LaDonna Ray, Saturday, August 22nd at 7 a.m. Only on WVON.
Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter.
We're up to way over 400 million here. Yeah, giving money back. How about that? People in Bellwood got 10 million, Broadview 6 million, Burnham 3 million, South Holland 17 million. The city of Chicago's up to $190 million that we have given back to African Americans. Who does that? Nobody does that but WVON.
Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter. Monday mornings at 11:30 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Still sleeping on that old bed? Mattress Firm sleep experts can help you choose the perfect upgrade. They'll guide you every step, answering your questions. Shop today and save big during the best sale of the year. They'll make sleep easy.
Summer's clocking out and school is clocking in. Chicago Public Schools are back August 24th. WVON wants you to make this year your best one yet.
I know I can be what I want to be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. I'll be where I want to be.
Live from the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's the Cleopatra Show on Chicago's essential storyteller, 1690 WVON.
When the word is shoulder, gotta straighten your head and put it down. You can't get the feeling, and there ain't no room for you in this part of town. Spend the party, people living crazy.
And we are back. The time is 10:10. It's Funny Clip Fridays. The studio is still buzzing. Big ups to House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries hanging out with me. Through the years, I've had an opportunity not only to see him at work, but officially being trained by Congressional Black Caucus Boot Camp. And through the years of work within my district and beyond, I've seen the brother work. Now, as he rises to make history in America, he will be voted on by a body of his peers that will be looking at a breadth of his work. And I think that he checks an enormous amount of boxes. And as he sprints towards the midterms, he has 74 days to not only get his money up, but get his members up, protect incumbents that are worthy to be protected, and pull up folks that are fighting for a chance. And there are some states that are in play: Michigan, Arizona, California, Illinois, Pennsylvania, New York, and a cadre, right? Illinois is just it was some big races that transformed Illinois, but redistricting potentially still could be in play, not immediately, but in the long scheme of things. But newly cemented congressional leaders like LaShawn K. Ford, he was here to meet with. And when you look at Pennsylvania, about 4 of those seats are in play, along with New York between 1 and 2, Michigan 2 to 3, Arizona 1 to 3, Illinois between 1 and 2, but they need to net 6. and if nothing else, absolutely 3. So that is huge, right? To lock down the House. And as we all know, America is closely watching. I know I am, Michigan, as I am desperately interested in where they land with Dr. Ahmad El-Sayed, who has the potential to be the rising star in the new Senate. And that new Senate will have a Democratic leadership that will position your president to be a lame duck for the remainder of his term. And that's not a new play, but it's a desperate one as he is scorching Earth 1, because they live on Earth 2. I'm going to the phone lines and I want to talk to you. 773-591-1690. Let's talk to Cliff. Cliff, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
This is a Cleopatra Grand Rising. I'm so thankful for WVON. It's a wonderful opportunity to get the insight of Black America. Also, Brother Titus, and to you. You know, you're a beautiful, articulate, intelligent sister. And so thank you so much for bringing up the issue of reparations. So now, to myself, I'm a little slow, and I admit, you know, I didn't go all the way to college. So in your most intelligent and most analyzing view, could you please explain to me what Jeffries said about reparations? I just missed it. I couldn't get it. So can you please break that down for me?
He wasn't prepared.
Oh man, unbelievable.
He wasn't.
Cleopatra,
I'm honest. He wasn't prepared.
I thought it was me.
No.
He sounded like Willie Wilson.
Yeah,
You know,
he wasn't prepared.
Unbelievable.
And you know what, but that's okay, because what I brought up was, like I said, I'm trained congressionally, so I live at C-SPAN. I pay attention to committee meetings and everything, and that's why he had to pay homage, as I brought up the late great Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who has carried HR 40 all the way beyond her grave, and I thank God for her. And he's right. Presley has picked up the ball, Congresswoman Presley, but that's not in the foci. And I need for that brother to keep it in the frame. I need him to, because the point that I'm making, and I want us to start to sharpen, iron sharpens iron. If we can cut a check, $40 billion to Argentina that had failed 7 times and on the verge of economic collapse, which the EU, I ain't even top to Israel, right? That ironclad relationship onward. You know, there's no way possible that we're not looking at this. And in his mind, he said work, wages, and wealth. But that, again, is what is alienating Black Americans, because that benefits everybody. But reparations exclusively is to repair and atone and restore. And there's no real numerical dollar, but the dollar that we're going to get is as higher than the sky itself, because I've seen this president pull up the Brinks truck. So he wasn't prepared. But I feel as though now that he's been asked with that uppercut question, he gonna get prepared, because he got to stay ready so he don't have to get ready, because that question is coming from every Black media source that is serious about journalism and serious in this moment should be asking the questions as I did.
So as my Delta sister, you know, me being a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, so since I want to thank you so much for bringing that up, and my brother Jeffries at least needs to say the word reparations. That would be a start. So
Absolutely.
my brother, if you're still listening, just start doing it. It ain't gonna hurt you. Absolutely. I don't think so, but just deal with that issue. Thank you, Cleopatra.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt.
Unbelievable.
Roots of the good bros. Listen, you know, he was solid everywhere else. His strength right then and there, he needs some work, you know, and that's okay. I think that's where we have to lay hands, and that's where we have to have that supportive grip and a firm stand in our posture too. Because when I ask, why should Black America support the Democratic Party, you got to answer for that. But when it's the deliverables to Black Americans on behalf of and from the Democratic Party, that through line is reparations, and he has to sharpen that. So despite all the love I have for him, when we fall short, it's obvious. So I'm not going to cover that up. This ain't the White House press box. I'm not going to lie to kick it. We don't have to do that. This family here. And sometimes family falls short of the glory. But let me tell you something about scripture. A man will fall 7 times. And although the Bible does numerically say 7, trust and believe is not the literal sense. And sometimes we get caught in the literal sense. So it's not that he doesn't have a plan, because we know HR 40 is the policy. But what are we doing to uplift it? And it may not be top of the key priority in this midterm, but it damn sure got to be on that ticket in 2028. And he walked away with that. And I believe I was crystal clear about that. And that posture was true. Now, for some of us listening, reparations, you may not give a damn about reparations. And you made it clear. Now, what I've told you is that I do, and I'll take your check and your Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, and then you get him the mule, right? Because I've been to my plantation where my people from. I've been to it. I'll make sure my sons have seen it as well and been to it. So until America atone, ain't nothing we can talk about, especially with this anti-Black agenda. Purging Black folks from federal employment is to destabilize Black home ownership in Black community. To filibuster public education is to harm Black community, because the vast majority of the children are Black in this education system. So this attack is deliberate. So if we don't work on operations to repair and restore, what do we have? I believe Black America needs an escape route. And from what I see, there's invites all across the shores of Africa to come home. So if you were to take your check, where would you go? Some will stay and play and hope they treat us right here. And others will bunk up out of here. Now, is that the fear? I think that's part of it. Now that I'm, evolving in my analysis from an international lens, how many of us want to stay and continue to be hunted while being Black and survive America? So you cut the check, you do what you will with the check. And it's not, I'm so tired of the argument. If they was to give it to us, what we wouldn't know how to do, no fool, what you wouldn't know what to do. And however you spend it, however you see fit, that was the one opportunity you'll ever have in 1,000 lifetimes. That's it. Meanwhile, back on the ranch, the Trump family has accrued wealth on top of wealth, while raising the deficit to 40 trillion that our children's children will pay for. You can't make it make sense, but we can sharpen our analysis and sharpen our position and our demand, because I'm no longer asking, and I want to know who's with me. 773-591-1690. I see Tommy. I see D. I see you all in the chat as well. I'm going to jump all in that. Of course, it's Funny Clip Fridays. More when we return.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Coming to Wind Creek Casino and Hotel for one night only, it's the Terry Hunter Live Music Experience, presented by Dion Cole. For the first time ever, the music that has defined Terry Hunter's legendary career comes to life with a full live band, incredible vocalists, and an unforgettable production. Get your tickets for the August 29th show now at windcreek.com/Terry Hunter. It's only at Wind Creek Casino and Hotel. Must be 21 years or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Aclivis Incorporated, in partnership with 3rd Ward Alderman Pat Dow, State Senator Maddie Hunter, and State Representative Kimberly Dupuy-Clay, presents the free back-to-school haircuts and hairstyles event on Sunday, August 23rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with music provided by Power 92's own DJ Nathis. Kids ages 5 to 17 can receive free haircuts, hairstyles, backpacks, and school supplies while supplies last at participating locations. Another barbershop, 843 East 47th Street, House of Heteras, 251 West 95th Street, Hair Experts Barber College, 216 East 47th Street, Hair Experts, 5401 South Wentworth, Studio B Barber Salon, 2113 South Pulaski Avenue, RV Barbershop Bronx Cuts, 15306 Page Avenue, Bronzeville Barber and Beauty Salon, 122 East 35th Street, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Services for boys and girls are available at select locations. For more info, call Aclivis at 312-766-7145. Supported by the Sisterhood and Grand Boulevard Prevention Services.
Chicago, are you ready? Chicago Public Schools are back in session Monday, August 24th. It's time to get the backpacks ready, sharpen those pencils, set those alarms, and get 300,000 students ready for a year of learning, growth, and possibility. To every CPS student, parent, teacher, and school leader, we're cheering you on because education is the great equalizer. It's the pathway from opportunity to possibility. Let's start this school year strong. Chicago Public Schools back to school Monday, August 24th. WVON cares.
When you're finally off the clock after a long day, dishes put away, kids asleep, feet kicked up, heartburn. Don't let heartburn take over your hard-earned moment. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Alka-Seltzer effervescent tablets begin neutralizing stomach acid in seconds, so you can get back to your one more episode marathon. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Use as directed.
School's Big 3 season has come down to this. The Big 3 Championship is coming to Charlotte. Who will be crowned the Big 3 Season 9 champion? Plus the Big 3 All-Star Game. The biggest names in the game, all on one court, one more time. 2 games of the most physical, competitive, and nonstop 3-on-3 action. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and catch replays Monday on BET. Oh, yay, yay!
It's Rufus Williams.
The radio keeps our ear to the pavement so we know what's going on in the community. And I got to say, what and how you've been doing it as my frat brother, but more importantly, what VON does, you are the new Ebony Jet that keeps our community connected.
Well, thanks. That's a huge compliment.
Weekdays at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. WVON, traffic and weather now.
The Ryan moving along at the posted speed from 95th Street to downtown and back again. As you make your way along both the Bishop Ford and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, you'll move along at the posted speed. And for now, things are pretty quiet along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, northbound and southbound. Taking a look at our weather. Now, the National Weather Service is on rain watch. We could actually see some heavy storms this afternoon and into the evening hours. Meanwhile, we're still headed toward a daytime high of around 80, a low tonight of 61. We're looking at cloudy and 74 degrees at Midway. It's 74 in Morgan Park and 74 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm in Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 10:25. It's Funny Clip Fridays on the Cleopatra Show, and we're still reeling over here. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries just hung out with me live in the studios here at WVON. And I see you all in the chat. And we are having a real conversation. President Shank says they have been socialized to respond like robots. America would rather burn the country down than to give Black folks reparations. Well, I think it's a decision that needs to be made. Because here's the cool part. And one day, like, as I share with you all bits and pieces about, the operative side of me, the political pundit, the political junkie I am, when I make the comment, Black girl Kornacki, I do pay close attention to national politics. I've been trained nationally. And here's my argument for the Beltway. And I am talking about that DC Beltway that kind of contrives this robotic messaging you're talking about. Everybody will have their day in the sun, and then it's done. Holding on to yesteryear is not working out. And the evolution of where we go from here, if you don't go up, you can only go down, right? I teach that to my son. in terms of opposites. My sons, even my 2-year-old understands that. Bottom line is this, if we don't find a way to repair, the restoration will have us right back to where we're at because Black America is the vital playing card. It is. Even Trump understood that for the 20% of Blacks that voted for him. He understood, but that was all he needed. And once he got that, that was all it was. And what has he done for you after that is the real question. And it's not for you. What has he done to you at this point? Let's talk to D. D, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Good morning, Cleopatra. Thank you for taking my call.
Good morning. Absolutely. What's on your mind?
So I didn't get the opportunity to hear Minority Leader Jeffries, but I did hear that you stated that you posed a question regarding reparations to him, and the word that you used to describe the answer was unprepared.
Correct.
And so, I find it hard to believe that a man of his stature and the position that he's in would be unprepared for such a question, because he's a Black man living in America and he should know better. So I say that to say, I don't know if he used that as a cover to continue to be regarded as someone who's, in my opinion, a safe Negro. I don't know. I'm just saying, I just find it hard to believe that someone of his nature would be unprepared for such a question.
Well, I mean, because you didn't hear it, I will elaborate, because Cliff was struggling to understand his answer. And his answer, he wasn't prepared for the question that I was going to ask based upon what he said. And he was honest. He said, well, I brought up Sheila Jackson Lee. Everybody knows the Labor Congresswoman that transitioned in Texas, who carried the HR 40 bill that was about reparations. And he brought it up and he says, I really don't know where we're at from that. All he did know is that Ayanna Presley, Congresswoman Presley, has picked it back up, and he would have to revisit that. So what that informs me is that that's not priority in this midterm. And I contextualize it this way. 74 days, he's bouncing across the country, and he's just laying out the pathway to how do we flip these seats so that we can take back the House and potentially the Senate. That's what's in his cerebral. That's at the forefront of his mind. But in these next 2 years, in the forefront of my mind on this ticket, with all this grifting going on while being Black and surviving America, reparations need to be at the top of the key. So although his response to me was not as prepared as we would have liked it to have been, I've seeded something. No different than how we seed into our children. So the next Black media outlet you go to, Black man, that is bound to make historical history, you have to work on the analysis and understand the priority of what that means to the Black voters. Because to ask Black America to vote for the Democratic Party again, what is in return? And if that's not at the top of the key, you're going to lose some people, a lot of people. So that is why I just honestly answered, he wasn't prepared for the question.
Okay. And we're talking about a bill that was introduced originally.
Oh no, we lost her. Feel free to call back. But HR 40, Sheila Jackson Lee carried that all the way to her death, honestly. And who's picked it back up is Congresswoman Presley. And moving forward, WVON, through the lens of my perspective, I seeded into House Minority Leader to bump that back up, right? Don't let that go down the priority list. I know he's looking at work, wages, and wealth, but that is impactful for working families. When we're talking about Black Americans, foundational Black Americans here surviving this country, reparations has to be in play for 2028. And I'm not conceding that point. I will drum that all the way, because whomever takes the top of that ticket, if they're not saying that, who you talking to? Especially if you need our vote. We'll be back after this break.
Partly cloudy and warm, temperatures making their way near 80 once again. Good morning. I'm Annette Flournoy, and here's what's happening. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries just wrapped up a live exclusive in-studio WVON interview. He was here to talk directly to Black Chicagoans about his midterm election strategy and legislative priorities ahead of the 2026 November elections. No softballs, though. WVON's Cleopatra Draper asked directly his thoughts on reparations for Black descendants of slaves.
What I can say is that we have a core commitment to making life better, to actually breaking down the barriers that have been erected during the journey that we've been on, knowing that America has never been a perfect country, but we are striving toward a more perfect union.
On other topics, the House Minority Leader is making rounds through the Midwest, where Democrats are positioning themselves as the party of affordability, health care protections, and civil rights.
Senate. Now, we're going to focus on the core issues around making life more affordable for our community and for the country, drive down the costs of groceries and gasoline and housing, make sure that healthcare is affordable for every single American. And we've also indicated that in addition to the affordability agenda, there's going to be an accountability agenda.
Meanwhile, he's poised to become the first Black leader of a major political party in Congress, making a historic milestone in American politics. Well, the fight over new plans for the former Ford City shopping mall is heating up. The city's planning commission voted yesterday to approve a plan to take it all down and replace it with warehouses and a distribution center. Perry Williams has more.
The proposal to convert the property into a huge industrial complex was approved yesterday by the City Council Planning Commission. This resident opposes the plan.
Our working class communities deserve more than just more jobs and warehouse jobs, that we also want places where we can live and thrive in and create.
Opponents of the proposal would prefer an entertainment district. A judge did shut down the Ford City Mall earlier this summer due to poor conditions and safety issues. I'm Perry Williams.
This is the final weekend before Chicago Public School students head back to class for a brand new school year on Monday. Meanwhile, students in Gary and Munster, Indiana are not in class. Northwest Indiana enters into day 10 without power. And NIPSCO says power will not be restored completely until next Tuesday. Well, this afternoon, there is a big back-to-school festival in Inglewood. Students will be given backpacks and for the new school year, that is, and school supplies. They'll also be given a little food and some games and entertainment to burn off that last-minute steam before school starts on Monday. Today's festival kicks off at 2:30 and will run until 4 at Urban Prep High School on South Stewart Avenue. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVON News Time, 10:35.
Member Week is back at Lowe's with big savings for pros. Now through October 15th, My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, tools, building materials, and more. Plus, get free standard shipping. Shop these exclusive member-only savings before they're gone. Not a rewards member? Join for free today. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
You've put in the work to get that first job, moved up the ranks, or started a family. Now it's time to take your success to the next level. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we're here to help you keep that momentum going with educational programs built around real-world, in-demand career skills. We'll teach you how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science, plus timeless skills like leadership, communication, critical thinking, and more. Affordable, accredited, and online. A UMGC education fits your life so you can keep growing while you keep going. You've succeeded before. Now succeed again. At UMGC, we believe nothing should stand in the way of your next achievement. Not doubt, not your life stage, and especially not an application fee. Just apply by February 11th and we'll waive your application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
It's WVON, and the race for mayor of Chicago is on. That's why we're bringing you the important conversations. Hi, I'm Matt McGill, and on Wednesday, August 26th, WVON joins NBC Chicago and Telemundo for an exclusive conversation with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. NBC Chicago political reporter Marianne Ahern and me, your boy Matticus, will sit down with the mayor for a candid conversation about the issues shaping Chicago and the future of our city. Watch on Wednesday, August 26th at 4 p.m. on NBC5 Chicago, and listen and watch across the WVON and our digital streaming platform, Fon TV. It's Maddie, Marianne Ahern, and Mayor Brandon Johnson. Wow, we're WVON, where Chicago comes to talk.
Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
This is your host and life coach, Linnell Harris, and I want you to join me every Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for Inspirational Perspective. On Inspirational Perspective, we talk life vision, life purpose, and the show is all about helping you live the best life possible. So join me as we look at supporting you in living the life you intend to live and making your life's vision a reality. Every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 a.m. WVON.
This report is brought to you by ComEd, powering lives. Here's a great savings idea. Did you know you've got the power to manage your energy? Yep, from usage alerts to energy saving programs and more. ComEd has all kinds of ideas to help you gain control over your energy saving costs. Find out more at ComEd.com/energy savings.
WVON traffic and weather now.
We're now seeing a little activity on the inbound side of the Ryan as you make your way from 95th Street to downtown. Just bumped up to 17 minutes with some minor stop and go traffic from 35th Street to Roosevelt Road. And also on the west side right now, Madison Street is shut down in both directions between Wood and Damon. Crews right there are setting up for Bulls Fest, which kicks off through the weekend. Right now, CTA is rerouting the number 19 and the number 20 buses. Taking a look at our weather, a pretty mild day. Partly cloudy skies. The National Weather Service on rain watch. We could see some heavy rains this afternoon and into the evening hours. Temperatures are expected to head near 80. Tonight, near 61. Right now, we're still holding steady in the mid-70s, still 74 at O'Hare. It's 74 in Morgan Park and 74 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm in Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 10:40. Got saying laughing in the studio. Of course, it's Funny Clip Fridays, and they're underway. I promise you, we're going to light it up, guys. Meanwhile, you all are lighting up the phone line, 773-591-1690. Who I want to talk to first? Let's see. FBA Mike. FBA Mike, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Hello. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, I think you get to me so quick.
Well, come on with it. See, you special. There it is. As long as you ain't coughing on me, listen.
Well, I got a couple of questions because I didn't hear the interview, but I heard that Hakeem Jeffries supposedly was unprepared, and I'm just curious, what do you think, in your opinion, that a prepared answer from him would have sounded like?
Now, to be clear, I want to specify in response to my question about reparations, he was not as prepared as anybody would have liked him to been. I think it's important, as he pointed us to, and I brought up Congresswoman, the late great Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who worked fiercely to the day she died on HR 40. And now he shared with us, Congresswoman Ayanna Presley has picked up the ball. At some point in his position, he's going to have to work up reparations being a priority. But here's the deal. He can't work up that's not something that's not on fire. What's on fire right now is affordability, right? What's on fire right now is the unemployment. What's on fire right now is 16 million Americans without health care. SNAP benefits being snatched from children, elders, and veterans. So those are critical issues, and that is his foci. But specifically, as he goes around Black media, and particularly WVON and the Cleopatra Show, I seeded into him what he needs to work up, which is reparations. So no, that is not at the top of the key. So that's what I mean by he was not as prepared in regards to his response, because that's not at the cerebral. 74 days out from the midterms, he better be talking about affordability. He better be talking about healthcare, all of those tenets. But Black America is always forgotten. And reparations has to be a key, especially if you constantly asking us to support. It has to be. So what I felt like we were able to do was to pour into his cup. So now he knows it is a critical priority, not just in Chicago, because this is a national show. So I think it was a delicate balance of him walking away with, and as he boards his flight to St. Louis, why did she ask me about reparations? Are they talking about reparations? Now he can go make his staffers do some work, and he can start to explore why is that a priority, and why did I ask him that, and why he must make it a priority, particularly as he is on the precipice of making history in America, being the House Speaker. He is in the position to make that a hot button topic.
Okay, and understood. But I'm gonna pose the question to you again, and I'm gonna follow with another question real quick. What do you think his prepared answer would have sounded like?
That's a good question. I feel like I don't want to hear another working group, but I feel like an update as to where we're at with HR 40. He didn't have one, but what does that fight look like in 2028 as they're vetting candidates? So for me, a response would have been, is that for us a priority in a presidential candidate? We're looking for somebody that is, weighing its options of that being a viable talking point, right? You hear the Westmore, you hear some of the bell whistles of your governor, you can hear Andy Beshear. You can look at Gavin Newsom. I know for a fact Gavin Newsom has no interest in reparations because he didn't have it in his own state, let alone nationally. So, for me, a response would have been, we're not only looking into that, but we're working that on our agenda to make it a critical issue, because we have come to understand that means something in Black America. The fact that wasn't, on the priority right now in the 74 days, I can see that, but he needs to make it one.
Okay, and I understood. And the other thing I want to say is like you said, that is not a priority. Everything else is a priority, all the things you mentioned. But I think that's part of the reason why we're in this predicament, is because they haven't been making Black people a priority. And the fact that that's still going on shows that they haven't learned anything. But the one thing I will say, I believe, had you asked him about anything about what the migrants would need, I guarantee you he wouldn't have been prepared. And that's essentially all I got to say.
I appreciate it. I'm going to keep the phone lines going. Let's talk to Brother Hall. Brother Hall, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Hello, Cleopatra.
Yes.
Once again, girl, you on target, man. If you never said nothing, you said something that really shook me. I damn near broke my chair that I'm sitting on. Because we can't go back to 1963. We can't keep playing that President Obama's card like I see some doing today, like that boy with Secretary of State's name. I can't think of his name right now. I'm having a senior moment. I'm looking at the commercials,
Alexi Janulius.
Yeah, and I have nothing against the bro, but You got to play the card of talking to black folks. This station is called, and not what I've known it to be, was WVON, the voice of the Negro. Certainly we're the voice of the nation, the voice of the Negro. So when I hear a brother come on and say, and you said, you're right, he wasn't prepared, he wasn't. You should have been prepared, sir. I don't believe that you wasn't prepared. I believe that what they're doing is playing this safe way through. It's not going to work. Democrats, if you guys are listening, and I'm a card-carrying Democrat, stop it. Address the real issue, as Cleopatra said. These journalists out here running around doing the same thing, winking and laughing and kissing, that ain't important. What's important is that you reach for the community that saves the party. Who is the community that saves the Democratic Party? Oh, I didn't hear you. So stop playing with us, and we'll stop playing with you. But if you continue to do that from a dry bones perspective, that's not going to happen. Thank you for taking my call, sir.
Absolutely. When we come back, Eddie Reed, Tommy, Colleen, I see you all. And I see you all in the chat. Kim John says, I can care less about Jeffries making history. I do not believe he's going to do anything for the American people but run his mouth. Oh, Lord, no. Well, I'm hopeful. In the words of the late, great Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr., I'm going to keep hope alive. That's a New York thoroughbred that walked up in here that has a crystal clear understanding comprehensively. And I'm very familiar with his upbringing because I've done some research. Ultimately, I feel as though what we poured into him will have the wheels turning. And if the ask becomes just this, what does it take? It's like I'm asking him, why should Black America vote for the Democratic Party? I promise you, as sure as my name is Cleopatra, the return will rise to become the rhetorical. What does the Democratic Party have to do, Black America, for us to earn your vote? That is where we're pushing the nozzle to. And if we don't come to a consensus, if nothing else, some of you all gonna hoop and holler for jobs and this and that, put all that. The seeding has to be restoration. It has to be reparations so that we can come to a conclusion, a consensus. The reason why this nightmare saga goes on is because America refuses to atone. I need you all to hear me. But just like they closed the chapter for Japs, they closed the chapter for the Jews. The Native Americans got screwed, but they got an ongoing saga with them. You gonna have to, America. Unless you want Black women to sit down and watch you scorch earth, you're going to have to. So the question today is why do you want Black America to continue to vote for the Democratic Party? But I promise you tomorrow and thereafter, as we march towards the midterm and ultimately towards this presidential ticket, the question will be evolving to, from the Democratic Party, Black America, what would you have us do? And we have to have a monolithic response that is a consensus exclusively and strictly for the atonement of the carnage, of the crimes, the worst crimes in humanity per the United Nations, that we be repaired and restored. And it's just not simply a check. The evolution of that can be all the things. The fact that we've paid for college, that we've paid for access to home ownership, despite all the elements, redlining, red district, all the things. We have to have a monolithic understanding that we will not concede. Now that is a stretch and a tall order. And until we meet that order, they're going to keep playing in our faces. And the only response can be reparations. And I didn't say a damn grant. I didn't say what your village going to do or your township or your county or your municipality. I said a national effort Because if we can cut 40 billion of our tax dollars to a failed economic engine in Argentina, you can atone for the greatest crimes in America. We'll be back after this break.
So last time we talked about you flossing more often. How's that going?
Haven't done it once, but I have been saving money on a regular basis.
What? Why?
Because BMO gives me a cash reward every month I save.
I was talking about flossing.
Flossing schmossing. A savings builder account rewards my good saving habits. What does flossing get me? Nothing.
Point taken, but you do get something for not flossing.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Cavities. Open, please.
BMO. Conditions apply. Visit BMO.com/save to learn more. Accounts are subject to approval and are provided in the United States by BMO Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch. Like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
When it comes to celebrating our Chicagoland communities, Wintrust is here. Small businesses in our own backyards, like Lori Bride and Living, a custom shopping experience at 4452 South Cottage Grove Avenue in Chicago. Central Sonar, accessible mental health and healing services at 2645 West 51st Street in Chicago. Princeton Technical Services, building and maintaining modern infrastructure at 940 West Adams Street, Suite 305 in Chicago.
When you're finally off the clock after a long day, dishes put away, kids asleep, feet kicked up, heartburn. Don't let heartburn take over your hard-earned moment. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Alka-Seltzer effervescent tablets begin neutralizing stomach acid in seconds, so you can get back to your one more episode marathon. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Use as directed.
Ice Cube's Big 3 season has come down to this. The Big 3 Championship is coming to Charlotte. Who will be crowned the Big 3 Season 9 champion? Plus the Big 3 All-Star Game. The biggest names in the game, all on one court, one more time. 2 games of the most physical, competitive, and non-stop 3-on-3 action. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and catch replays Monday on BET. Oh, yay, yay!
It's Matt McGill.
President Trump participating in the dignified transfer of the bodies of people who were lost in battle. What the hell are we doing putting people in harm's way? Why we got an 18-year-old in harm's way? This girl just graduated from high school. Some of y'all got the nerve to defend Donald Trump? Really? It's a damn shame, man.
Weekdays at noon on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Got a 3, got a 2, got a 1. Tune in Friday, 9 to midnight for The Fundamentals, where I, Titus T. Del Williams, bring the mental.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
And I, DJ Turbine Arturo Garza, bring the fun.
So if you want some wacky,
some good conversation,
but some fun,
and a little serious,
for all your sports needs, tune in to The Fundamentals.
Friday nights, 9 to midnight. See you there.
WVON, traffic and weather now.
That inbound trip along the Ryan still 17 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. We're seeing some minor delays right around 35th Street and a little heavy as you make your way to Roosevelt Road. Otherwise, things on the Ryan are just fine. Traveling along the Bishop Ford and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, you will move along at the closest speed. And right now along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, things are nice and quiet northbound and southbound. Taking a look at our weather, the National Weather Service says we could see some heavy storms roll in later tonight. This afternoon, we could even see a few showers or two. Temperatures headed toward a daytime high of right around 80. Tonight, we're looking at a low of 61. But right now, cloudy and mild, temperatures pretty steady in the mid-70s. Still looking at that 74 degrees. At O'Hare is 75 in Woodlawn and 75 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm in Illinois, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 10:57. I'm going straight to the phone lines. Let's talk to Colleen. Colleen, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Good morning, Cleopatra.
Good morning.
Yes, I was calling. It's my own personal opinion. I feel like as Black people, a lot of times we fight the wrong battles. And I feel like, yes, I want what's due us, our 40 acres and a mule, for all what my forefathers went through. But I feel like first we need to get back in power. We need to get together, bring out as many people as we can to vote to get the House and Senate, and hopefully in 28 get another Democratic president. I think we need to try to accomplish that first and then fight for our reformations, because we have to pull enough people along in the country to also vote Democratic for us to get that. And you know, a lot of people in this country don't care if we ever get reparations. I understand that, but we still cannot win those seats back on our own. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And if I may respond, we represent 13.5% of the population. So argumentatively, you're right. We can't get anywhere fast or slow. They can't get anywhere without us, and we can't get anywhere without them. However, 97% of Black Americans vote unabashedly when it comes to the Democratic Party. So we have paid our due diligence. Now, the cannibalistic activity we're bearing witness to with this regime is not our fault. So I am of the mindset, not only can we walk, we can chew gum at the same time. And I don't think that it has to wait any further, because the wait has only crescendo the amount that is owed. Yes, do we have to take back these things in order to put folks in play? But if you put folks in play that wasn't going to play your way, it's still not going to go your way. So committals. We fail to demand committals. And then when they don't deliver, we allow them to stay. So we have some behavioral patterns that we have to adjust as well, because saying you check blue don't mean nothing to you or me if it's not a committal to the belief of the restoration of reparations. And we don't ask the hard questions, which is why I'm in this seat and commanding this ship. Because if we continue to send people that expressly are not on board with the Black agenda and our needs, we will continue to live the same way, delivering for one and getting nothing in return. And that is what I want to say back to you. I support what you're saying. Yes, I agree, but we don't have committals. We fall short of that, and that's on the voter.
Okay. All right. And then I'm the lady that called too to ask you about all my roots come out of Wetumpka, Alabama too, like you. And that's all I wanted to say. And
Can you leave? Listen to me, Colleen. Leave your contact. I'm gonna have Titus, because I just met somebody yesterday. She's from Alabama, a new associate of mine, and she knew about Wetumpka. I would love for you to leave your contact for Titus, if you may, and I would love to talk to you, if that's okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So listen, Eddie Reed, Tommy, hold tight. We got a special guest coming, guys. It's our sister from Word in Black, but I see you all on the live line. I see you all in the chat, and clearly it's a fired up Friday, and y'all don't care if it's Funny Clip Fridays, but I gotta come back to a funny clip, because that's what we do on Fridays around here on the TCS. You don't want to miss this.
Partly cloudy skies, temperatures climbing near 80 with the possibility of some wet weather later this afternoon. On this Friday, August 21st, 2026. I'm in Illinois, and in the headlines, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wrapped up a live in-studio WVON exclusive interview this morning. He's making rounds through the Midwest ahead of the November elections. In Chicago, he sat down exclusively, right here on WVON. Bulls Fest returns this weekend outside the United Center. There'll be youth hoops clinics and special appearances. And it's Friday, the final weekend before Chicago Public School students head back to class for a brand new school year on Monday. There's lots happening for students this weekend, including a back-to-school festival in Inglewood. National news from the Black Information Network is next on Chicago's original social media platform. 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's 11:02.
BIN News Now. President Trump says he wants the United States to remain the global leader in cryptocurrency and technology.
New financial technologies are extending this American dominance into the 21st century, and that's why we're focused on creating a clear regulatory framework.
Speaking at the White House, Trump highlighted support for Bitcoin and digital assets as officials launch a new advisory committee. Former Cook County Commissioner Richard Boykin has filed a complaint accusing Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas of intimidation and official misconduct. Boykin, who is Black, alleges the dispute stemmed from criticism of Pappas's mayoral ambitions, while Pappas has defended her actions. And the Tupac Shakur murder trial resumes today in Las Vegas. Jurors this week heard recordings of Dwayne Keefe D. Davis discussing the events surrounding Shakur's 1996 killing. They were also shown photos of his autopsy. Davis is accused of orchestrating the murder. BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Terry McCready.
The USS Abraham Lincoln being relieved in the Middle East. This after President Trump declared concerns over the aircraft carrier was fake news. Maryland's Black Mayor Wes Moore blasting the president over his remarks.
The response of the president of the United States pisses me off, and it should piss all of us off. I would have hoped that since he's never been forward deployed, since he's never put on the uniform and sacrifice for this country, that he would have more compassion for the people who are willing to.
More on CNN. Multiple reports now confirm the replacement aircraft carrier, the USS George Washington, has arrived, giving the San Diego-based crew of the Lincoln a chance to return home. There have been concerns about the 5,000 crew members who departed San Diego back in November, setting a modern carrier record for time at sea. There could soon be tougher scrutiny for green card applicants when they're deemed a public charge, and that defines an individual who is primarily dependent on the government. Public charge guidance allows immigration officials to consider whether a U.S. citizen child of the applicant or one of their relatives has used health or social service programs, even if the applicant has not. A release this week from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services says officers will apply several factors to determine whether green card applicants are subject to the public charge of inadmissibility. The new rule means officers will assess all pertinent facts on a case-by-case basis. A USCIS spokesperson says the Trump administration is upholding the rule of law and protecting American taxpayers from subsidizing aliens who may become dependent on public benefits. The WNBA suddenly has become political with one of their biggest names, Sophie Cunningham, speaking out against transgender athletes competing in women's sports. Her team, the Indiana Fever, played in Dallas yesterday, and there was plenty of conservative support.
We very much appreciate what Sophie is doing, but disappointed with the WNBA failing to create a policy to protect women in their sport.
Mary Elizabeth Castle with Texas Values held a rally outside the American Airlines Center. The WNBA Players Association said in a statement they welcome hard conversations but refuse to be used as political pawns. Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker is excited about One Philly HBCU Week, October 27th through the 31st. The city will celebrate HBCU culture with a Battle of the Bands, choir competition, and much more. 2 HBCU football games are also scheduled that week at Lincoln Financial Field. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News This Hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, the Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. We'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
Two LaDonnas, one unforgettable conversation. Tune in to Senior Talks on Saturday, August 22nd at 7 a.m. as Dr. LaDonna Ray welcomes Chicago radio icon LaDonna Tittle. Hear stories from her remarkable broadcasting career as she discusses her upcoming documentary. That's Senior Talks with Dr. LaDonna Ray, Saturday, August 22nd at 7 a.m. Only on WVON.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, the Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church. Tabernacle.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON.
This report is brought to you by ExpressPros.com. If you work in logistics, you know nothing moves without you. Companies need skilled people now, and Express Employment Professionals can help you find contract or full-time work that fits at no cost to you. Visit ExpressPros.com. Get support, get options, get to work.
Chicago, set those alarm clocks. Chicago Public Schools are back in session August 24th. New year, new possibilities. From WVON, the Talk of Chicago.
I work hard at it. Be where I want to be.
Live from the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's the Cleopatra Show on Chicago's essential storyteller, 1690 WVON.
Madam Vice President, before you go, we just saw that Stephen A. Smith got the thumbs down award from the NABJ, and we were desperately wondering, do you have anything to say about this?
Thank you for your question, my dear, right? And look, let's just start here, right? Stephen has built an entire platform on criticizing others, right, with no compunction. And yet when others criticize him, he views it as unconscionable, right? And let's just get right on down to business. He said it's the deepest insult he's ever received, but he has never had a one-on-one conversation with his own hairline, because I imagine there's been some difficult conversations happening between those two for quite some time, right? Let me be clear, right? I mean, I always say there's significance in the passage of time, right? But when I look at Stephen, I can see that passage of time has been very significant, right? At this point, it's not even a hairline, it's a headline missing. Last seen in his early 20s, right? But no, let's level set, right? Let's just level set. Stephen went on Fox News and sat down with Sean Hannity and allowed him to mischaracterize and to radicalize Black women. In fact, he agreed. And I believe that the large part of a platform is not only what you use it to say, but about how you use it to challenge when people buck up against what you should be standing in solidarity with. And if we're supposed to be building our community up, how can you do so by diminishing the very people that are the backbone of that very community, right? Stephen continues to frame this as if we're upset about a difference of opinion. We're not, right? That's not the conversation. The conversation and the question is, do we understand that disagreements, which will happen, right? That's our right. That's how we grow as people. But the question is, do we understand that our disagreement does not absolve us from the responsibility of how we disagreed? And that is a fact that Stephen does not seem to comprehend, right? So we're going to take some notes from his hairline, right? And we're going to recede.
Woo, Gag Kim. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we are back. It's Funny Clip Fridays on the Cleopatra Show. And I could not close the week out with another revisit back to that thumbs down award of Stephen A. Smith. We talked exclusively about it. And apparently the mock-up of the Veep, who rose to be the 107-day presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, had a little something to say comedically. What a parody. On the live line is our sister from Philly with WURD Word in Black. And she got something to say too. I want you to clap back to that Jennifer Porter Gore. And you're based in DC, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. It's no problem.
So what you think about that since we were receding?
Oh, well, first of all, thanks for having me back. Yeah, I think that, there's so much to talk about with him that he can control. But it's kind of funny that, the metaphor, it fits. We should be receding from people like who don't understand our values, who don't understand that this moment, and who also don't understand what really should be done to move forward. Instead of him coming to the people that he says insulted him and actually finding out what went on or why he's in this predicament, you actually went over to a network that doesn't seem to know what the acronym NABJ stands for. And I think that says a lot.
And they didn't care to either. They could have gotten it right, but this is the same station that deliberately said her name wrong to expressly show how much they cared little about her as a person. So, as I recede and push that back like his hairline, I'm gonna push that back. You are here to talk about something else, but we drop funny clips, and in the studio was still buzzing. Live in studio, we had the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries to talk in conversation with me. So the space is still lit. So I just want to, get your take on Minority Leader Jeffries as we are at the 74th day mark before the midterms. What do you have to say to him and the position he's in to take back the House?
Well, I hope that the Democratic Party says that it's a big tent, and I hope that they do focus on enlarging that tent in any legitimate way possible. And let's keep our eye on the prize as to, what really needs to happen. I think that he's doing a good job. And of course, there's always room for improvement. And I'm pretty sure that he's got the right idea about what needs to happen in the midterms. And he is going to have his marching orders if the Democrats do take the House.
Well, there it is. So let's get to it. You are here to talk about a few things. And I actually peaked delight. If you didn't know, Chicago is trending to be the lead city in America to be the most costly for school supplies. And I thought that was just interesting as I'm embarking on getting my kindergartner ready for back to school. I'm like, Jesus, fix it. I'm in the aisle trying to figure out between, this thin pack of 3-pack of draws to this expensive pack of markers that damn near cost the same. It's devastating. I'm confused.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
It's
confused.
a tough time of year. Oh, yeah, it's a tough time of year. Yeah, and it doesn't help. Of course, this is why fast fashion is so popular. Number one, let's face it. How can you resist an $8 dress? Sometimes you like, really, $8? Number two, especially when you're talking about with children, they're going to grow. So you're always thinking, well, let me get them something that's going to be serviceable and decent, but also not going to break the bank because they're not going to fit it in 6 months.
I'm trying to tell you, but God has blessed me with all sons. So carry on. Boy, you going to put this on. I don't care who was just wearing this. What?
Oh, see, that does help. At least you avoid the whole,
I'm trying to tell you. And then the tripped out part as a new mom, the clothes that you bought because they were cute, and then the baby still didn't get a chance to wear because the weather bipolar. Oh, that's all day, every day. I'm just amazed by that, like that part. And I've been saving this outfit, and you got the nerve to grow.
Right. You wore it once, and what? You're
That
out
part.
of it already. Yeah.
That part. I gotta take photos just to remember that was the investment. This is where I'm at, like for real. All jokes aside, I should do a mommy chronicle, but it's not 26 hours in a day. I don't have that kind of time. So, you're here to talk to us about fast fashion, cheap price tags, and, just the landscape. So let's dive into it because you got some new reports.
Yeah. So the whole fast fashion industry has been getting confronted for a couple years, and with good reason. And I think that when you're talking about things like, of course, affordability, and we're in an affordability crisis in this country. And let's just be blunt, as Black people, we tend to be in an affordability crisis more often than the mainstream anyway, because of being underpaid chronically. This is a big issue, and it's not going away. And I think that the fact that we actually did this event where we talked to people who are managing this issue and also working in this space, I thought it was important to say that, hey, we got to take care of our bodies too. We can't, the fast fashion, there's a reason why it's there, but, we do also need to remember that what it's doing to us physically, it has longer term consequences and may actually really counteract the what you're going to spend on your health care could outweigh what you're spending on the savings you're getting on these clothes, and also on some of these other products that we find at, the stores that are mostly in our neighborhoods.
And let's talk about that, because when we come back, I'm at a point now where we no longer have places to shop, right? Everything is online, and it's incredibly frustrating as we talk about children that grow, mom, dads, and those alike that are only aging. Every day you wake up, you're aging. Your body is going along with it. And in that, I can't even ask for an outfit that is actually in the store if I wanted to try it on, right? If that was possible. So the evolution of where we're at, on top of it being affordable. And when we talk about affordability, quality, I think that is what's more infuriating than anything. So I want to go and get the most reasonable, but if I wear it one time and it's falling apart, where was the bang for my investment? We're talking to Jennifer Porter Gore. She's with Word in Black, based in DC. So this sister has been survived. You want to talk about Black women that survived Trump, and he in her backyard, okay? She a warrior. Cause I swear I couldn't breathe the same air, let alone walk the same street, or he drive his motorcade, because he don't do no walking. The point is, the sister cold, and she's surviving strong. When we come back, we're talking about fast fashion companies, say that 3 times, that are just booming and giving us low quality to the best quality. Who are they and where are they? You'll learn more when we return.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
It's Gospel with Pam Morris Walton, your gospel sister, on WVON Sundays, 11 to 2 p.m. Music to help you on your journey. I'll see you there, WVON.
Ice Cube's Big 3 season has come down to this. The Big 3 Championship is coming to Charlotte. Who will be crowned the Big 3 Season 9 champion? Plus the Big 3 All-Star Game. The biggest names in the game, all on one court, one more time. 2 games of the most physical, competitive, and nonstop 3-on-3 action. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and catch replays Monday on BET. Oh, yay, yay!
When you're finally off the clock after a long day, dishes put away, kids asleep, feet kicked up, heartburn. Don't let heartburn take over your hard-earned moment. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Alka-Seltzer effervescent tablets begin neutralizing stomach acid in seconds, so you can get back to your one more episode marathon. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing works faster for heartburn relief. Use as directed.
Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
Hi, I'm Attorney Ernesto Borges. I'd like to invite you to join me for the Borges Report for lively discussions about legal matters, politics, government, entertainment, and the topics that concern you in your life. Start your Sunday, The Borges Report.
The Borges Report with Ernesto Borges, Sunday mornings at 9 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
WVON, traffic and weather now.
Big problems along the inbound side of the Ryan. Right now, we're seeing an accident that's blocking the 2 right lanes right there at 83rd Street. That accident apparently is involving a semi that had a shifted load. Also, DuSable Lakeshore Drive now reporting some heavy delays northbound right as you approach Roosevelt Road and stop and go through Jackson, mostly stoplight delays. And also along the Bishop Ford, an earlier accident at Cottage Grove is now off to the side. Taking a look at our weather, the National Weather Service is on alert for potential storms that could be heading our way later tonight. We could even see some showers as early as this afternoon. We're looking at a daytime high near 80, a low tonight of 61. Right now, we've made it up to 76 at Midway. It's 76 in Auburn Gresham and 76 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Anna Flanoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 11:24, and it's Funny Clip Fridays on the Cleopatra Show, and we're talking about fashion. And some of you all are shopping at said places. I'm gonna drop it. You go to Fashion Nova, you on Temu, well, I don't know where you're going. Amazon, I have no idea. But one thing about it, a new report looks at the chemicals and other potential health risks lined to some of the clothes we wear, and why Black women and pregnant women, my God, may face particular concerns. On the live line is our sister with Word in Black, Jennifer Porter Gore. And Jennifer, you know, you got me devastated. You like that $8 holla dress, them $12 jeans. So talk to us about the chemicals that are being found.
Yeah. So, of course, we're always talking about these PFAS, you know, the forever chemicals, the other parabens and phthalates, things that make the clothing more flexible, you know, because as you mentioned earlier, before the break, the issue is the quality of the fabric is such that it needs a lot of manipulation and a lot of chemicals to make them, you know, hold together, hold these great colors. So, you know, they put formaldehyde in things, and, you know, formaldehyde is used in embalming fluid. So, you know, you're finding things like formaldehyde in your dresses, also in underwear. And yeah, Black women are bearing the burden of this for a couple reasons. Of course, the cost factor is always attractive. You know, if you're making less money, you're going to save by buying a cheaper fabric. and also just what the chemicals do to our bodies, and what that does, how we are more susceptible to the endocrine disruption sometimes because of the constant barrage of it. And also combine that too, if you have a lack of access to healthcare, all those things get together and really do a number on the body. And unfortunately, Black women are dealing with it. A lot of people are, but our numbers are higher.
Mm. And what is being done about this? When you say formaldehyde, what would that need? Why would that chemical need to be in our clothing?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's used sometimes as a preservative for the fabric to make it last longer, to make it more malleable. Also, there are things like, in some cases, lead has been found, like even in the soles of certain shoes. And this is only coming out because legal action is being taken by various states to make these fast fashion retailers disclose the fact that these chemicals are in there. Also regarding lead, to fine them and punish them for actually even using things like that. And there are some bills pending in Congress also to try to get manufacturers to disclose. Now then, of course, we've got like California. They went past disclosure. They're actually fining. They actually leveled multi-million-dollar fines on a lot of these companies for failing to let customers know that, their clothes could actually be toxic. So there is a way to also make sure that you're looking at the labels. You can take matters into your own hands. Look for companies that offer clothing with natural dyes and natural fabrics. Wash the clothing before you wear it. There are tactics and there are techniques, and they should be used. But most of all, people should really, think longer term about what they want to put on their body and in their body.
Well, I always appreciate you all over this beat. So here's what I'm thinking. Are there already class action lawsuits? Because you're talking about Black women and pregnant women. My youngest just made 9 months. So God is good. Survive Black maternal health in this country,
Right.
but to live to tell the story. But what devastates me is the many that will continue to populate the earth, and the abuse of the tactics that are being used to cut corners to create and mass productivity, these cheap products that we buy in bulk. What is becoming of this from a civil lawsuit standpoint?
So there are some lawsuits pending. Mostly, though, they are pending they've been filed by attorneys general of these states. I haven't seen a lot of consumer lawsuits, except, of course, the big one we're talking about, like Johnson & Johnson with the talc and talcum powder. Also, I'm forgetting the other name of the company, forgive me, but there is also one being sued because of hair relaxers. So those are pending still, and people should take a look online to find which law firms are actually serving those customers and how those cases are going. And of course, if one lawsuit has been filed, that means that more can be filed. So there are ways to work with nonprofits that are in this space and actually looking to get rid of these chemicals or decrease the amount of chemicals, or at least increase the amount of disclosure that these companies have to use in order to say, hey, we're selling you this and this is what we put all over it.
Well, one thing about it, I appreciate you being all over that beat like sprinkles. And I want you all to be mindful of what is in your clothes, where you're buying them from. Are there some brands that you listed or localities that are on the naughty list that you want to share with us before I let you go?
Well, brands are tougher when you're talking about with fast fashion because, of course, that's the whole point. They change the brand names, they change the sourcing, but anything you're buying from Temu, Fashion Nova, Shein, those companies have been sued. So you can clearly say, that they are a problem. Also, anytime you're talking about some of the products that we use for our hair, take a look at those ingredients. Make sure that they don't have parabens in them, because a paraben has actually been found to cause linked to uterine cancer, things like that. So just read your labels, go natural when you can, and compensate when you can't.
You better get that organic cotton.
Exactly.
I'm
Get
trying
that
to tell
organic
you.
cotton.
You better get that
Hey,
organic cotton.
I'm a fan. You know, my grandmother used it. My mother used it. There's a reason why. There's a reason why it lasts so long too, because it is a natural fiber. So focusing on buying for the longer term, and don't
cheat yourself.
Don't fall prey to the $12 jeans.
There it is. That's Jennifer Porter Gore. She writes with Word in Black. Tell us how we can keep up with your work.
Always check us on Word in Black, wordinblack.com. And we also have events, live events, and live stream events every other week. Our fall event schedule is out. So take a look and hop on and come and have a conversation with us.
All right, guys. We'll be back after this break.
A mix of clouds and sunshine with the possibility of rain later today. Temperatures climbing near 80. Good morning. I'm Anna Flournoy, and here's what's happening. Chicago State University is just 1 week away from its first football season ever. Well, it turns out that WVON is the chosen official media partner for the CSU Cougars inaugural year. Cougars head coach Bobby Roan says he has big plans to expand and grow this brand new team.
Guys, we're trying to take this thing nationwide, man. We don't want to just stay here on the south side. We want to take this thing as far as it'll go. We're big dreamers here.
Now, CSU is a Division I program and will play in the football championship subdivision. They'll start their inaugural season August 29th against Roosevelt University at Seat Creek Stadium in suburban Bridgeview. Well, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wrapped up a live exclusive in-studio WVON interview today. He was here to talk directly to Black Chicagoans about his midterm election strategy and legislative priorities ahead of the 2026 November elections. No softballs, though. WVON's Cleopatra Draper asked him directly his thoughts on reparations for Black descendants of slaves.
What I can say is that we have a core commitment to making life better, to actually breaking down the barriers that have been erected during the journey that we've been on, knowing that America's never been a perfect country, but we are striving toward a more perfect union.
The House Minority Leader is making rounds through the Midwest, where Democrats are positioning themselves as the party of affordability, health care protections, and civil rights.
Senate. Now, we're going to focus on the core issues around making life more affordable for our community and for the country, drive down the costs of groceries and gasoline and housing, make sure that healthcare is affordable for every single American. And we've also indicated that in addition to the affordability agenda, there's going to be an accountability agenda.
Meanwhile, he's posed to become the first Black leader of a major political party in Congress, making a historic milestone in American politics. Well, construction is underway at a new city-backed health facility on Chicago's west side. Mayor Brandon Johnson and other officials held a ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday for the Austin Hope Center. The nearly 25,000 square foot facility will house an outpatient Lurie Children's location where patients can access pediatric specialty and behavioral health services. And this is the final week before Chicago Public School students head back to class for a brand new school year on Monday. Meanwhile, students in Gary and Munster, Indiana, are not in class at all. Northwest Indiana enters into its 10th day without power. Perry Williams has more.
About 45,000 homes and businesses remain in the dark. Gary Mayor Eddie Melton says utility crews are working around the clock.
The latest restoration for, I believe, 95 to 100% will be August 25th. But they're actively restoring power right now as we speak.
Public schools in Gary will remain closed today. Officials with the Community School Corporation will have a better idea of a return date over the weekend. I'm Perry Williams.
And this afternoon, there's a big back-to-school festival in Inglewood. Students will be given backpacks for the new school year and school supplies. They will also be given food, and there'll be some games and entertainment so that children can burn off that last bit of steam before school starts. Today's festival kicks off at 2:30 and will run until 4 at Urban Prep High School on South Stewart Avenue. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVO News Time, 11:36.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
Chicago, are you ready? Chicago Public Schools are back in session Monday, August 24th. It's time to get the backpacks ready, sharpen those pencils, set those alarms, and get 300,000 students ready for another year of learning, growth, and possibility. To every CPS student, parent, teacher, and school leader, we're cheering you on because education is the great equalizer. It's the pathway from opportunity to possibility. Let's start this school year strong. Chicago Public Schools back to school Monday, August 24th. WVON cares.
It's Rufus Williams. Every weekday morning from 7 to 9, I break down what's really going on. Politics, power, and the people shaping our community. Think of it like your morning newspaper. Headlines, context, and so you can take it in, sit with it, and move smarter through your day. If you're part of the Root Crew, you already know. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, the comments are a whole other show. Family reunion in real time. Listen live or on the WVON app, or join us on Facebook Live. It's the Rufus Williams Show, weekdays 7 to 9, right here on 1690 WVON.
Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter.
We're up to way over 400 million here. Yeah, giving money back. How about that? People in Bellwood got 10 million, Broadview 6 million, Burnham 3 million, South Holland 17 million. The city of Chicago's up to $190 million that we have given back to African Americans. Who does that? Nobody does that but WVON.
Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter, Monday mornings at 11:30 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by ComEd, powering lives. Here's a great savings idea. Did you know you've got the power to manage your energy? Yep, from usage alerts to energy saving programs and more. ComEd has all kinds of ideas to help you gain control over your energy saving costs. Find out more at ComEd.com/energy savings.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Two heavy spots right on the south side. As you make your way along the inbound side of the Ryan, you want to look out for that earlier accident at 83rd Street. Now, that accident is involving a semi. Apparently, it shifted its load. And also, as you make your way along the Bishop 4, we're seeing something peculiar happening there. We're looking at a 28-minute trip from I-8094 to the Ryan. Now, there's no report of an accident inbound or outbound, so there's no gap or delays happening. We'll continue to monitor that. We are looking at stop-and-go traffic, though, from 115th Street all the way to the Ryan. Taking a look at our weather, a mix of clouds and sunshine. The National Weather Service says we could possibly see some showers this afternoon and then heavier rain later tonight. We're looking at a daytime high near 80, a low tonight of 61. Temperature steady in the mid-70s, still 76 at O'Hare. It's 76 in Auburn Gresham and 76 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago. 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This looks pretty good.
Chicago.
I do wish we had more time in the Alps. A lot of stuff we could be doing. People go skiing, take some hikes.
Really? You ski?
Why would you assume I don't ski? Do you ski?
Yeah.
All right. So you think you can ski and I might not be able to ski?
No.
What would lead you to assume that I don't ski?
Oh.
Larry, is it
no,
because?
No.
Is it because?
No, sorry, Bob.
Is it because I'm from Hawaii?
Obviously, yes.
Hawaiian ski too, Larry.
Hawaiian ski.
Yeah.
Ah, who knew?
This looks.
Hawaiian ski. That's your president, right? The 44th president of these United States, President Barack Obama, I mean, thugging it out. He wanted him to say the quiet parts out loud. Black people that ski. Where my ski gophers at? You know, when I think about my auntie Pammy, ooh, I know some black people that ski. Where y'all at? I can't wait. One day I'm gonna get my weight up and resume my birthright position because of my auntie Pammy to be not an inaugural member. I want to be a legit member of the Ski Gophers. And if you know something about that, give me a call, 773-591-1690. Not only does that black man ski, I know black skiers. But, you know, Larry wasn't going to say the quiet parts out loud. 773-591-1690. It's Funny Clip Fridays on the Cleopatra Show. I want to thank Jennifer Porter Gore, a friend of the show that stops by to give us the skinny from Word in Black. And the bottom line, the hidden cost of the great deal is fast fashion worth your health. So all you Sheen, girl, look, I got a whole outfit for $2. You ever thought about why it costs $2? You be on Temu looking for underwear and bikini tops and whatever else you rocking. You better think about that formaldehyde that's in there and the things that are leaving lesions and everything else on your skin and disrupting your whole existence. Something ain't right. And then who you gonna hold accountable? Yourself for shopping on Temu and Shein. You gotta do better. But we have to know better. And this is why we come to WVON, so we can be informed better. So please take it to the church, your organizations, your hairstylist, your barber, and tell them, cut it out. Pay attention. Be woke. Be alert. I'm going back to the phone lines. Let's talk to Eddie. Eddie, talk to me. Welcome to WVON. Eddie, are you there? Eddie. Put him back on hold. Let's talk to TJ. TJ, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Good morning, Miss Cleopatra.
Hey, good morning, Eddie.
No, I'm not Eddie. I'm TJ.
Oh, yes. Good morning, TJ. Forgive me.
That's all right. No, all is forgiven. Listen, I missed the interview, but I'm glad you did the interview. This is throwing no shade to your other counterpart because I know you gonna give him something, and it wasn't a gotcha question, but it was like, hey, we need to know this. Cleo, you know your mom or dad said, hey, you got one, you got that one chance to kind of mess up, but after that, you get one. After that, you better know Mark, what to do, what's next. And he got that one about the reparations in regards to that nature. Cleo, I'm having a little bit of a senior moment. Who is the congressman from South Carolina? The old head that's been in there for years?
Yeah, the whip, James Clyburn.
Yeah. When you had mentioned it was Sheila Jackson-Lee that had did the HR 40, I was like, dang, I thought it might be Clyburn, but I know who Clyburn is. Clyburn is a person that needs to go. His time, God bless him, his time is gone. And this is not about a senior moment, it's a generational moment. The thing with that people are asking, or people get confused with the GSA, and I say this, that it's like, when I hear people on the TV or the pundits on TV like MSC Now or CNN, I don't even watch one. It's why not, there are 9 countries, and I lived in 2 of them in the military, that have socialism and capitalism, and they are European, but they're all white. So you're trying to tell me that we can't do the same, or the DSA is not pushing the Democratic Party to say, hey, living wage, healthcare, free healthcare, free schooling, this and that. This should be a mantra or a FDR Part 2.0 far as moment for him. Same thing with Hakeem Jeffries. Just because they scare folks, they not kin folks, and he will lose. It will be a bigger withdrawal the next time that they don't get this right or have this on their platform than what Trump gave with the 20%, because it might be 40%. 20 might just vote for Republicans, and 20 might just sit the hell out. And I think they need to realize that the black folks, not the Hispanics, not at a great rate, but the black folks, mostly the black women, black girl power, that's ruling the Democratic Party. And I think that whoever he's listening to, he needs to kind of get together. And also, too, when he gets in, Cleo, I want people to look at this. We'll see if he's just a leader or a token, because we talked about tokens, Cleo, on your show. I think it was last week. We'll see if he's a leader or just or a token. Yeah, I called in. We'll see if he's a leader or a token. That's all I got to say.
No, I appreciate that. And I thank you for the call. Let's go back to Eddie, see if Eddie's there. Eddie, welcome to WVON. Oh, no. Where Eddie at? All right, we'll hang up and Eddie, you'll call back. Let's talk to Mike. Mike, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking my call. I want to give you special kudos with Super 3 Gold Stars for speaking about that we should share stuff with one another. And the reason I'm saying this is because there's a documentary called Living to 100. And on that documentary, the first part is about health and how some people around the world, these blue zones, just automatically live to 100. And the guy on the documentary, he talks about America. He says America falls short. They leave 15 years of good living on the table, just all because they're missing one particular thing. He says that in common that all these blue zones has a sense of one another. They tend to look out for one another. So when you were talking about, hey, pass the information around about these different fashions and all that, and it's about life. It's about living and good life and long life. So I say, hey, you deserve the gold star. That's what we need.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. Listen, guys, when we come back, Tommy, Andre, the phone lines are yours, 773-591-1690. We're having the conversation because folks are still reeling. That live in studio I had with me, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Congressman Jeffries of New York. And he is transcending across the country. It's 74 days into the midterms, and he stopped in Chicago to hang out with your favorite millennial. You don't want to miss this.
Ready to ride through art, culture, and pure Bronzeville magic? The Bronzeville Art District Trolley Tour is back every third Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. Hop aboard our double-decker trolley buses for a night of art, community, and unforgettable vibes. For powerful exhibits at Blanc Gallery to creative expressions at the Bronzeville Art Lofts to cultural treasures at Fay African Art and the soul-stirring brilliance of Gallery Gashard. Each stop is a whole experience. This is not just a tour, it's a moving celebration of Bronzeville's heartbeat. Meet the artist, feel the rhythm, bring your friends, bring your energy. June 19th, July 17th, August 21st, and September 18th, every third Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. And it's free to ride the Bronzeville Art District Trolley Tour. 20 years strong and still rolling. Tap in for the culture. Tap in for the ride. RSVP now at Eventbrite and search the Bronzeville Art District Trolley Tour 2026. See you there.
Summer is here, the season of sunshine, swimming, picnics, and the freedom to have fun and enjoy yourself. United Fidelity Bank believes freedom starts with smart saving. Whether you're hanging with friends and family or enjoying a summer night, your money should still be working for you. Open a United Fidelity Bank 18-month certificate of deposit with a 4.35% annual percentage yield. It's a simple, steady way to grow your savings, letting your money work for you. At United Fidelity Bank, they focus on you, your needs, your goals, your questions. Their personal service is something you will not find at a big box bank. Get the experience you need and the service you deserve. Stop by their Chicago flagship branch at 1701 West 87th Street to open your 18-month 4.35% APY CD today. Or visit UnitedFidelity.com. United Fidelity Bank, where your summer of smart savings begins.
Rate subject to change at any time. CDs renew automatically to the standard rate and effect at the time of renewal, unless instructed otherwise. Member FDIC.
In Chicago, there's always something going on, and its residents deserve answers, so we're bringing an important conversation directly to you. On Wednesday, August 26th, WVON joins NBC Chicago and Telemundo for an exclusive conversation with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, NBC Chicago political reporter Marianne Ahern, and yours truly, WVON's Matt McGill, will sit down with the mayor for a candid conversation about the issues shaping Chicago and the future of our city. Watch on Wednesday, August 26th at 4 p.m. on NBC Chicago, and you can listen right here on WVON and catch it on our digital streaming platform, Vaughn TV. It's me, Matt McGill, Marianne Ahern, and Mayor Brandon Johnson. We're WVON, where Chicago comes to talk.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Vaughn TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
WVON, traffic and weather now.
Still no changes in your travel times. Taking a look at the Kennedy inbound, it's about 32 minutes with some stop and go traffic between Sacramento and the Burn Exchange. Taking a look at the Dan Ryan, there is still that stop and go traffic due to an accident where 2 right lanes are blocked on inbound at 83rd Street. Taking a look at our weather today, it is a daytime high of 80 with some sunshine, tonight a low of 62, and currently temperatures are 77 degrees at O'Hare, 77 in Hyde Park, and 77 here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Kayla Patton on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
My prerogative. They say I'm crazy. Hey, I really don't care. That's my prerogative. What is he doing now? Now, tonight, I'm going to tell you all, I get to do something. Oh, I thank God for my mama. Shout out. If that was the real MVP, if I was to give an award today, tomorrow, and forever, it's my mother. I thank God for her and our journey of parenthood because, woo, that's right, Titus. It does take a village with these cheering. And, you know, if you want to keep hope alive in your marriage, I'm hanging outside today. So I'm going to take Mr. Draper and we're going to pull up on Usher and Chris Brown. Shout out to my girlfriend that gifted it to us because I had no intentions. Chris Brown nor Usher is in the budget. I'm going to keep it all the way a buck with you. But the fact that they are in the view, in the frame, I'm hanging out tonight. And no, I am not going on the stage. Them women brave. First of all, yeah, they brave. I'll save my comment for another day because I got to see this, right? I've never seen Usher nor a Chris Brown live and in concert. I really don't go to concerts too often. That's not a big deal for me, but the fact that they're going to be here and we get a date night and my mama agreed, ooh, I'm so blessed. Shout out, right? Big ups. But I wonder, what is he doing? Now, Michael, I want to thank you. Michael says, just a reminder, WVON family, Cleopatra has requested several times to call her Cleopatra and not Cleo. Thank you. Let's not irritate the young sister that has to deal with 3 children and a husband that wakes up really early in the morning for the show. I really appreciate that. I love my name. No, I don't care for Cleo. And then some folks were like, well, I heard somebody say Cleo, right? It depends on some history there. There's an association. And only if you know the history of that do you respond to that. That's like household nickname, right? You know, you can't call me that. That name has some significance, but so does my name. And my father gave it to me, and I love it so much. So no, don't butcher it. So sometimes you'll hear folks introduce me as Cleo, and then I'll come behind and say Cleopatra. You know, it's a nice way of saying, hey, don't call me that. So I appreciate it, Michael. And I know you all don't mean any harm. I appreciate when you call, but just know this queen loves her name. I really, truly do. Now I'm getting back to the phone lines. I'm gonna give everybody a minute. Tommy, talk to me. What's on your mind? Welcome to WVON.
It's amazing that I get a minute, but really I only need 10 seconds because you asked the question, why would Black people vote for the Democratic Party? And my response to that is, what the hell else you gonna vote for? Because according to the current reality of which we find ourselves, there's only two parties that you can vote for. So a no vote is to vote for this insanity. I agree with the sister who called earlier. Do we deserve reparations, people? You know damn good and well that we do. But how you going to get it when you can clearly see what is happening in this country? Should we be talking about it? Absolutely. So should we do the first thing, which is restore sanity, and then make it absolutely crystal clear that we follow the process of when the midterms or when primaries come, we vote your behind out. And the most important thing that we all have to do, we must do, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa is our national anthem. And I want to apologize to Cliff because I clearly understand his passion. I mean, damn. Goodbye.
No doubt. Let's talk to Andre. Andre, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
TA here, Juliet.
Hey.
So, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. What's on your mind? Are you there? Okay, we done lost Andre. Let's talk to Susan. Susan, welcome to WVON.
Hey, Cleopatra.
Hey, I love it. Come on, say them syllables, girl.
There you go. Phonics, reading is fundamental.
I'm trying to tell you. My baby said the A says I. He be running around. Keep going.
It's so perfect and cute. So I got to hurt everybody's feelings. You add Lululemon to the pot. If she didn't already mention it because it was at the end. Yeah, honestly, spandex. Anything spandex because it's a hormone disruptor. I know because it's like the guy was like cotton. It was one of the healthy guys on one of the channels. I forget which platform, but he has his own channel because it's like, this is toxic, this is toxic. I was like, man, it's just, am I going to just sit in the corner with a cotton ball? What the heck?
Girl, we finna do this Moo Moo Nation. I don't even do Moo Moos.
Man.
But they show be free though with the Moo Moos.
Okay. But what was the cotton thing you guys were talking about?
Organic cotton. Right. No. Right. So if the toxins are also in the underwear, I can imagine. So you better get them organic cotton underwear and quit playing. You better make the investment.
Right. Yeah. The underwear, well, the patch should always be cotton, even if the panty is nylon. Mm-hmm. That was my understanding. But at this point, they probably want the whole thing to be cotton. Shoot.
I don't know. That sounds like a hot factory up in there. I don't want to go in that kitchen. Woo, child. Good call, Susan.
All right,
let's talk to Andre. Andre, welcome to WVON.
Hello, Miss Cleopatra. Happy Friday to you. Listen, I don't want to say that reparations is not important, but at this point, it's not a necessity. What's the very important thing to me is maintaining our democracy. If we don't have a democracy, we don't have anything. When I say restoring democracy, and we need the Democrats that can reverse a lot of this damage that Trump has done. We need to get the DEI back in the focus and a lot of other things. But don't say you're going to vote for Trump if we don't get reparations, if Hakeem Jeffries don't accept reparations. Right now, it's not a necessity. Maintaining our democracy is a necessity at this point. Thank you, Ms.
No doubt. I got one more funny clip before I get out of here, guys. But listen, and we're not saying that it's either or. It can be both. You can walk and chew gum. Amen. There are some priorities we have to set in place. But before we keep setting people in place, we got to know what their position is so that they can make it happen. You ready with that clip? Let's play that. I got one more funny clip for y'all.
Don's diaper. You guys need to see this new video of Trump. Take a look. What is that? Is that a diaper? Is it a pad? Seems the president has something going on back there. I've seen some videos saying that it smells, but look, I don't know. Does this prove it? No. I even hate to ask, what do you think in the comments? But I'm going to do it because I already know.
Listen, guys.
I already know.
Hey, the number one question is, who is Natalie? And I'm going to get to that side piece. But what is going on in that back rear end area when it comes to your president? You know, Donnie the Diaper, Donnie the Commie. We got all of these names, but Don Lemon is begging the question, and I am looking for some answers too. So if you find out over the weekend, you get extra credit on Monday. Now I'm coming in with some piping hot news only you can use from your favorite millennial. I appreciate everybody that clocked in. You came on time, didn't require a tardy pass, even though some of you all admitted that you didn't hear the interview. Go back and watch the tape. The brother came into the studio live. I'm sure we're going to have it up for our podcast. You don't want to miss it. Share with the church, because as we seed into him the expectations, you can only inspect what you expect. Now, Monday, class will be in session 9 a.m. only on the Cleopatra Show. And for those that I see at the concert, just wave. You know, I look forward to it, but I'm going to be in the skybox. So if I don't see you, it's because I'm up high and I'm going to dip real low when it's time to go. All right, Monday morning at 9 a.m.
I hope you're blessed on this Friday. I'm Kayla Patton, and in the headlines, NIPSCO crews are making progress restoring power to Northwest Indiana customers who were impacted by the August 11th storms. And a plan to redevelop the shuttered Ford City Mall on Chicago's southwest side is advancing to the City Council Zoning Committee. 4 Chicago firefighters are expected to recover from their injuries after battling a blaze in a vacant building on the city's southwest side. The Black Information Network is next on Chicago's original social media platform, 1690 AM WVON Berwyn, Chicago.